Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next installment of the Saul's Rest campaign. I appreciate anybody who's currently logging in and who's currently in the chat. When last we left our intrepid band of adventurers, they had gone into the strange, mysterious realm of the woods between the worlds to meet with Wolf, who is the strange and somewhat sociopathic psychopomp that lives there.
Somewhat?
Excessively sociopathic psychopomp that lives there.
That's better.
Sorry, next time I will be more precise with my language. However, they were met with a rather surprising, visit with him, as he, rather than, murdering everybody wholesale, as everybody was half expecting him to do, he invited them to his home, and he fed them and let them rest because they had just come through a pretty gnarly combat. And therein explained that there was something prohibiting him from actually giving them the item that they had come seeking. I believe they're referred to as the Bracers of the Wolf. It's one of the 7 blessings of the heroes of Godfall. And he explained that to get that, there was an ancient wolf creature that lived in these here parts that they would have to defeat, and it was not something that he himself would be able to participate in the confrontation. I don't remember if there was an explanation as to why ever given, but the reason he does give is that if he shows up, then the creature won't. However, it will follow you into the prime material plane with the item and hunt you and stalk you, so you all opted to fight it here rather than having it follow you back to the prime material plane. So for those of you watching on stream, we are having some fun technical and audio issues, as we always seem to do. But again, without audio issues, this wouldn't be one of my streams. So bear with us. We are also down a player. We are down Leoben. The player decided that he needed a much needed vacation, so he headed up north for the 4th of July weekend, and we will not see him again. I mean, maybe never. Honestly, he might just decide to stay up there. Who fucking knows? I will be playing Leoben's character. I will not be playing Leoben's character. I'll just be using him in combat, and if I think he'd make a snide or snarky remark, I'll throw that in too. Without any further ado, are you all ready?
As I'll ever be.
Let's
Bring
do
it
it.
on. Let's go fight an ancient, gigantic, terrifying winter wolf creature thing. It's fine.
Yeah, sounds fun. What's the worst that could happen? What could possibly go wrong?
Your enthusiasm is only matched by your zeal. Anyway.
That basically the same thing?
Shut up.
Yes, it is.
Wait, why you gotta call me out like that on my own stream? Why you gotta do that? Why you gotta be like that, huh? What the fuck, man? Why you gotta be like that? You know what? It's been a day, alright? I've already been gaming for 8 fucking hours.
You love us for it.
I do. I got a grin on my face, don't I?
Oh, Jesus is a big fan. Okay.
You guys are kind of bottom right if you're having trouble finding yourselves. So, as you are preparing yourselves for battle, Wolf turns to the group of you. And call me Sugar Beats. Welcome back for more. I saw you. You were in Nick's stream too, and that's, by the way, I didn't say this before. That's a really fun username.
Hey, babe, I can't move my character.
Of course you can't, because I didn't apparently allow you access. How about the rest of you? Can you move your characters? Give it the old college try.
Find out.
I gotta
Hold
zoom
on,
out
I'm
first.
still loading.
Yes.
If Mal and I, again, because of your computer issues, if you can't, I understand. And I've got you.
It's loading till the end of time. Give me a minute.
No rush.
Yes, I can. So at some point we need to update the fucking thing.
Send me an email with your new picture.
Okay.
Because if you send it in chat, I will probably lose track of it.
I can move my character.
Excellent.
Oh, that reminds me. I found some other pictures that would be good for Adira. I'm gonna post those in the Google chat.
Cool.
Ooh, please do.
All right. So, as you are all have awoken from your long rest, you have taken your time, gotten yourselves prepared and ready to go. I'm turning off my notifications so it can't be heard over the thing. There used to be in Hangouts a way to turn off notifications on everything, and now there's not, which kind of pisses me off. Anyway, so Wolf turns to you all and kind of glances. His shaggy hair he kind of pushes out of his face, and well, if you're ready. And he raises a hand, and you see the cabin in the clearing kind of just fade away to nothing, and you find yourself standing in the midst of this kind of foggy, misty woods. Your immediate area, while it's kind of that low, like ankle-deep clinging fog, it's still kind of hazy throughout. So, like, you're realistically, your vision is probably only goes to about 30 feet in any particular direction. But anything that would be like within that 30 feet, you can see clearly enough to, attack if need be. The temperature noticeably drops. When you were in the clearing with Wolf, like it was a little chilly, like it would have been like a mid-60s situation. This is much more in kind of the low to mid-50s. Those of you mountain-born individuals, Malin as a Goliath, like you're kind of used to this. Actually, this is way more comfortable than you've been in a while, at least since the last time you were in the mountains. And the air has that kind of heavy, cloying feel of just very thick, like you're kind of breathing through wet velvet. And this is what you see.
Is there any sign of this wolf thing?
You don't see any.
This is David forgetting. Did we discuss any of its tactics or weaknesses with Wolf beforehand? Because he would. I feel like he would know.
We definitely would have asked.
Okay. Sure. Absolutely. So yeah, you had chatted with Wolf a little bit about its weaknesses and whatnot. He fundamentally just informed you that it's a very old, very powerful winter wolf. With the kind of tacit expectation that you might know some shit about winter wolves. So I will allow a nature or a arcana roll. And anybody who wants to roll may do so.
Dirty 20. On
Great.
nature.
Dirty 20 on Arcana.
Nice.
Hey.
I got a 12 for Arcana. As
I
I just
got it.
realized I don't have my dice out.
I got a rock. Sorry, the way you said that just made me think of that. So yeah, you words are hard. Holy crap. Sorry, I'm just pulling something up here. Winter wolves are typically not. I mean, they're fairly dangerous creatures. They usually live in kind of the frosted north areas. Kira, growing up in Winterhold, like you've actually heard tell of winter wolves kind of attacking some of the northern homesteads and whatnot. The local militia was usually enough to kind of take care of them, at least keep them under control, or at least keep them out of mostly populated areas. They're fundamentally dire wolves, larger, stronger than your average wolf. They have a little bit more tougher, thicker skin. They have the ability to harness the kind of essence of winter and breathe it upon their foes. But other than that, I mean, and they're intelligent. Like, they actually have a near humanoid-ish intelligence. They are not necessarily evil. However, they tend to be pretty xenophobic and territorial. As far as the ancient variety, you're not really sure, but you think, based on kind of what Wolf is saying, you think their powers, whatever powers they had, are probably just more so. And that is what you know. So assuming you're, we've jumped back a little bit in time so you guys can kind of talk tactics. So talk tactics.
I mean, I would have a little experience fighting these things because I'm sure they're dime a dozen from where I grew up, but usually they would roll in packs, yeah?
Usually they were in packs, and they do stick to the kind of hierarchical structure that most wolf packs do. So there's an alpha, there's a whatever. But they don't run with other winter wolves. Usually they will run with either dire wolves or just regular like timber wolves. So usually they usually take over a pack of existing wolves of some kind as the alpha, and then that's what they run with. They tend not to work with other winter wolves. You remember somebody back in your clan talking about the mating habits, but you're like, the only reason why they come together is for mating, but you kind of didn't want to hear about wolf fucking, so you tuned it out. They don't like fire.
Well, I would imagine not. Well.
Now, is the ultimate goal specifically to kill it?
Wolf said to defeat it.
So whatever that means.
He didn't say kill it. He just said defeat it. Now, what you know of Wolf, you might infer that defeat means murder.
So Adira is going to try to make herself less harmed by cold, and so is going to turn herself into a fiery thing.
By casting
Investiture of Flame.
Thank you. No, I just wanted to make sure that's what we were doing.
Yes. Sorry, I was speaking codedly.
And that's you were speaking in character, or more or less in character from character point of view. But yes, I wanted to know specifically what you were casting.
Specifically, Investiture of Flame. So Adira is now fire.
What, Malin?
Should we expect it to be alone, or will it have a pack of dire wolves with it?
Wolf says it will most likely have minions of some kind. What form the minions take, he is uncertain.
So it's not...
No, it is not going to be alone.
So there will be other stuff.
Yes. Again, this thing does not confront him directly, so he's never actually had a confrontation with this creature. But he's heard stories from some of the lost souls in his woods who have happened across it, and they've always mentioned some variety of support or minions for the Winter Wolf to boss around.
I will cast protection from energy on myself
Okay.
for cold.
Before we get too far into it, actually, I should have asked this first, and I apologize because it might actually change the investiture of flame thing that I do. What is the light condition of this area?
Well, are you casting this stuff while you're waiting in the woods, or are you casting this stuff before you disappeared? You're muted, David.
I'm muted. Yep, I hit that too early. I would have cast it once we got into the terrain of the battlefield.
Okay.
But, yeah. That's why I should ask this first, because...
The lighting conditions are fairly... Have you ever been walking around on a really misty day in kind of daylight? Like, there's light, but it's kind of this, like, ubiquitous light.
Would you call it dim light?
I would call it dim light.
Okay. So that actually is going to preclude Adira from casting Investiture of Flame, because if she does that, she can't shadow step because she is light. So I apologize for that. I realize
she obliterates her own shadow.
So scratch that. I apologize.
Noted. Is there any other preparatory stuff that you guys are going to do?
Hang on. I just need to check on the orb because I don't remember. How does it regain its charges? Because it would have regained charges overnight, yeah?
Yes, it would be fully recharged during a long rest.
Okay. Okay. That is all.
So looking at your chat, Beth, are you getting a new cat purse? Is that what I'm understanding? Apparently the reason why things aren't working is because Alex chewed through literally all the cords.
Alex.
Yeah, I'm going to get a cat purse.
Man, it's a good thing he's pretty. That's
This
all I
is-
can say.
I'm super done with my cat. And the headphones are from work, so I'm very excited about that.
At least you don't have to
Like I
replace...
said, I'm very excited about the fact that he chewed through the work headphones.
At least it's way less expensive to replace than a computer. That is all I can say.
Yeah.
Okay, so you pop into those woods. We're not going to go into initiative yet, but I would like everybody to roll initiative just to be prepared.
Ooh, 19.
Adira also got a 19, so apparently Adira and Katie are rolling matching today, but Katie's going to go first because Adira does not have a bonus to her initiative.
Adira also got a 19.
Oh my god, really?
But we'll go before Adira, but after Katie because I only have a +1.
I broke the mold and got a 14.
Oh my god, you outlier, you. What is your initiative modifier, Malin?
+1.
Thank you. We're trying a thing that I learned from Roll20, and I'm going to see if it works in D&D Beyond. Kira, what is your initiative modifier?
+1.
+1. And Katie, what is your initiative modifier?
+3.
Okay, let's see if this works. Nope, doesn't work. Damn. All right, well, because this is being stupid, it's only allowing me to do whole numbers as opposed to doing other things. Anyway, doesn't matter. So, my question to you all, as you stand in this misty forest, the odd kind of cloying air and silence wrapping around you like a thick cloak, what do you do?
Look around for the wolf. Like I don't know.
All right.
Where we're in fog.
Yes. So your vision goes out about 30 feet before it gets kind of too dense to see much. Real quick, I do want to introduce to this particular group, I'll have to rehash it again for Leoben, a new house rule, and I think you'll appreciate this one. When you are rolling a perception, an investigation, or an insight, if you roll lower than your passive version of these, we default to the passive version. The only time that is not going to be applicable is during combat when things can distract you from actually having a passive thing. Does that make sense?
So effectively any time that...
Yes, and I love it.
Would that also kind of not apply if we have like disadvantage to the roll?
I would say yes. Anytime you would have disadvantage to any one of those checks, it wouldn't necessarily default to your passive. I think that makes a lot of sense. Actually, that makes probably a lot more sense than doing it in combat. So I think that might, because it's a house rule that we just recently kind of hit upon, so we can jigger it a little bit as we're going. But yeah, so if everybody's cool with it, then I would like to implement that for this particular game.
I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Overall better rolls.
Means I can't roll lower than a 20 on perception, so yes. I'm here for it.
Cool.
Fortunately, we're getting rid of the hilarity of when, we roll a 1 on the die. I know that's technically not how skills work anymore, but still.
Right.
I mean, it's a house rule, so we could say if you roll a nat 1 that you're just effed.
I mean, when you have disadvantage and you roll a nat 1, we could make it funny. Anyway,
Real quick question: Are
Yeah.
we all healed up? Because I've still got some.
Yeah,
damage
you
on
should
my
have
cheek.
Yes.
should have taken a long rest.
Okay.
yeah, go ahead and give yourself a long rest, which would put you back at maximum hit points.
Oh, and Adira would have given an inspiring speech to everyone about how we're going to kill this wolfy motherfucker.
Hell yeah,
Or,
we
or
are.
defeat it. So, 19 extra hit points to everybody.
All right, I want the speech in broad strokes. You don't have to do it verbatim, but just in broad strokes.
So what is this thing called? The Bracers of Wolf? The Wolf's Bracers?
The Bracers of the Wolf.
The Bracers of the Wolf. Adira goes into this precisely 10 minute, no second longer or no second shorter speech about how we shall go into the great unknown and root out the wolf in its lair and defeat it and take for ourselves the Bracers of the Wolf and live to fight the great shadow dragon of badness and yada yada yada, how we're all just great things, peoples, and while we may have different views about where we ultimately go in the world, yada yada yada, we are all serving a common cause. Yay, hooray for unity.
It's all very inspiring, and you all have 19 temporary hit points.
Love it.
All right, so we are going to proceed. Again, we're not necessarily in combat, but we are going to proceed in initiative order. Simply for declaring of actions and whatnot. So, top of the round is Katie.
Okay, Katie is going to be keeping an eye out for and looking around for this giant wolf and readying an action to use an item.
Okay, go ahead and make your perception roll, please.
Okie dokie. Nat 20, so a total of 30. I can see why kids love the taste of
Little-
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
You can see why the kids love the
You
taste
can.
of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So yeah, 30, you say?
30 total on a nat 20.
Sweet baby Jesus. You start to hear colors. It's a whole thing.
Oh my god, I've been given synesthesia.
You've been given synesthesia.
You just had some really good shrooms.
Or, well, I am not here one way or another to say what synesthesia feels like, so I'm not going to go down that road. But, yeah, you don't see anything within the kind of dome of the world right now, but you hear things. There appears to be movement coming from relatively this direction. I'm pinging on the map. Kind of northwesterly of where you are.
Northwesterly.
I'm pinging on the map on the wrong layer.
I was gonna say, can you ping on the map? Okay, that way.
Alright.
Katie, you also hear a sound almost due east of your location.
I will kind of give the general directions like, alright, something to our northwest, something to our east.
I don't like the idea of being surrounded.
Do either of those sound like multiple somethings?
I will say there's a lot more noise coming from over here. The northwest direction.
And since I hear more noise coming from that direction, I will start moving that direction. Let's see. Sure, I will go over here.
Okay. Sounds good. Is that going to end your turn, Katie?
That will end my turn for now.
All right. That is going to make it something else's turn.
Oh, goody.
I don't like that.
Katie, as you move within proximity of these trees, suddenly the trees on either side of you start to kind of squirm. And I will remind you, you found out last time what the trees are made out of. Do you recall?
You're made out of souls.
Yeah, the trees were made out of people.
So you're seeing faces kind of start to bubble closer to the surface from either of these trees. And you see two fairly largish faces kind of moving on either side of you, kind of moving out. And they don't exactly like push out of the tree, but almost. And you see they kind of turn with their mouths just agape and they start to suck in. I need you to make 2... Nope, just 1. Constitution saving throw.
Oh, Jesus. That'll be a 13.
All right. As they start to kind of suck in, all of you can see, like, and you all are seeing this too, like, you can see these faces kind of pressing out of the trees, and you see this kind of almost amorphous energy starting to leave Katie's body. Katie, until the end of your next turn, you have 1 point. I'm sorry, you have 1 point of exhaustion. That's just exhaustion. Until the end of your next turn, you cannot regain hit points at all.
Oh.
Can we roll a Arcana or something to see what the heck this was?
I will say that on your turn, you may roll an Arcana.
Cool.
So that was that. That does bring us to Kira's turn.
Can I roll an Arcana check to see what the
You
hell
absolutely
this
may roll an Arcana check to see what the hell just happened.
was? Well, that's a 9, so I don't know.
You
The
don't
priest
know.
did something real fucking weird.
You don't know what the fuck just happened, but that was fucked up.
I'm gonna. I don't want to go over there, particularly.
I mean, who would?
I'm gonna come check this out to the east, I think.
Also, Katie, I will say that it feels super fucking weird.
Yeah.
So I moved my 30 feet. And I am just gonna double move.
Okay.
Just hello. Stupidest thing ever, but I would really like to know where this wolf is, and just get it over with.
Okay, fair enough.
So.
All right.
That's what I do.
That'll be the end of your turn. Sounds good. Okay, so then we have the that. The that is going to happen. Katie.
Yeah?
From out of the mist around you, surrounding you on all sides, you see this massive pack of dire wolves. Setting it to back so we can still see your figure. But
I have chosen poorly.
They surround you on all sides and begin to attack.
Cool. I used my rated action to use my piece of equipment.
Okay, what do you use for your piece of equipment?
Sorrel's super awesome, no matter what Corthian says, hair clippies.
Yes.
Oh, still probably my favorite named item in the game. Anyway, so you reach up into your hair and you pull out one of the hair clippies. Go ahead and roll your random number.
Alright.
I think it's a die 6 if I recall correctly.
It is a die 6
so, yeah.
because there are 6 things. And I got a 3, which on the list looks to be Summon Aberration.
All right, look at I believe you summon an aberrant spirit, if I am not wrong.
Yes, an Aberrant Spirit.
Give me, pull it up on your thing, and then give me a size, please.
Oh, that's right. Do I get to choose which of the 3 things pops up, or is that random too?
That's random too, because it's Saul, so roll a d3.
Alright. There's no d3, so I'm just going to roll a d6 and have 1 to 2, 3 to 4, etc. Alright, so that's 3. Summon Aberration, so that's a slod.
I mean, that could be way worse. Slods are kind of fun.
Yep.
All right, how big is your slod?
The slod is medium sized.
All right, let me get a token on the board for you. And where do you summon the slod?
Well, since I'm surrounded, I'm going to summon it right next to me.
I feel like that is a fair plan. It's fine, just doing some real-time downloading. It's fine, everything's fine. Pay no attention to the DM scrambling. Boop! Slod. Let me give you control. All right, so you you pull a hair clippy out of your hair, and in that moment, you immediately realize what this thing does. So you realizing that you need to let it burst forth from the hair clippy, you throw it on the ground next to you, and it kind of drops to the ground. It bounces a couple of times like a hair clippy would do when thrown against the ground, and then just kind of, and there's this large, long-limbed, weird, disgusting kind of odoriferous creature. And I believe it gets roll an initiative.
Yeah, as far as I can tell.
So please roll its initiative.
Okie dokie. Let's see. Let me just it got a 2.
Excellent. Do you happen to have its hit points, just for my notes?
40. I've already typed it into the red circle on its thing.
Perfect. The Slod is on the initiative. Now, I believe that is an action to summon. Do you have anything else you would like to do? Oh, that was your readied action. So the dire wolves are going to try to eat you.
Oh, wait, actually, shit. No, it's got more hit points than that, because these are all cast at 9th level.
Oh, yes, they are.
Oh, that will change a lot.
Let me know what they are when you're...
Aberration. That's what it is. Okay. Okay, so it's 40 plus 10 for each spell level above 4th. So it actually has 90 hit points.
Another 50 hit points total, so 90 in all. So 90 hit points. There we go. Perfect. All right. Well, the wolves begin to attack, and since the Slod is now there, they are going to also attack it. However, this was actually not a bad thing for you because it is going to divide their attacks amongst the two creatures.
Yep, and it's got a much higher AC than I do. Well, a little bit higher AC than I do.
So we're going to say, since you were there first, 3 attacks on you, 2 attacks on the Slod.
All right.
11.
Miss.
24.
That'll hit.
And 18.
Will miss, actually.
Nice. So that is going to be 10 points of magical piercing damage.
Owie.
And I need you to make a athletics check. No, strength. I'm sorry, make a strength saving throw.
Oh, I can't make an athletics check instead.
Nope.
Yeah, 11.
All right, you fall prone. As the wolf that actually manages to get its teeth into you grabs your legs and pulls them out from under you. And then the 2 attacks on the Slod. 19 and a 16.
Those will both miss.
Okay. So the Slod is a little hardier than they were prepared for.
It's kind of a beast.
Yep. You realize, given the size of these creatures, Katie, that if they start moving around a lot, and just the size and sheer number of them, if they start moving around a lot, you might be in danger of getting kind of caught underfoot, and that's probably going to be a bit painful.
Makes sense.
Leoben is next. So Leoben, seeing that his sister is in trouble, and Adam, not really remembering all of the things that Leoben can do, but remember some of them, is going to bonus action Shadow Step. Oh, God. He is just that ridiculously stupid, isn't he?
this is lay open. Yes.
He's not dumb enough to get into the mix, though, so he shadow steps to right there. And he is going to... That is his bonus action. He is going to draw Kazuma's katana. And he's going to make an attack with it. Let me check their AC quick. Okay, so he will hit. That's going to be that. And since he's just got the one drawn, he is going to two-hand it. And then he's going to spend a key point to use Flurry of Blows. Hits with the first, misses with the second. Okay. Okay. Sorry, there's a fair number of moving parts to this, so this is going to be a minute. All right. So, oops, I gotta do that. All right, so Leoben, seeing his sister surrounded by this horde of dire wolves, kind of bamps right next to it, draws the katana, slashes through the closest one to him, and then in quick succession brings an elbow down and then follows it up with a quick low punch. The low punch doesn't seem to do anything. However, the katana strike and the first punch do find purchase. The wolf closest to him kind of yike, 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 yike. Not real happy with him. It's still up, but it's not pleased. That is going to be the end of his turn. And that brings us to this. Kira.
Are we still on initiative 19? Because Adira hasn't gone yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed Adira. Adira. I skipped you. I apologize.
I was curious. I was like, damn, we got a lot of people that rolled on 19.
I am real sorry. I totally skipped you. You do go. Yes, it is your turn.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Adira is going to float in the air 40 feet.
Okay.
And then as a bonus action, repel blast that group of that horde.
Okay.
And attempt to move them back a total of 30 feet off of the Slod and the Katie.
All right. So go ahead and roll to hit.
23.
Yep.
30.
Yep.
23.
Yep.
Great. So, total of 30 feet of movement in a straight line back from me, so that would put them under the tree, hypothetically, if that works. And a total of 0, 15, 21, and back where to go. 36 points of force damage.
All right.
And Adira is now 40 feet in the air. That was an action bonus. And then I guess because I haven't done the Knowledge Arcana yet for the trees, I'm going to see if I know what that is.
Okay, sounds good.
22.
Honestly, you're not sure 100%. It might just be a function of the plane of existence. It might be just something that they do you're pretty sure. The thing is that you're pretty sure it's not Wolf who's causing this to happen. You also know that if there's a powerful enough and old enough being in a particular area, that particular area might become kind of their home, and they may have some measure of control over what happens in it. In other words, it's a lair action.
Like a lair action.
Correct.
Okay. All right. I'm just, and then I just need to see if I actually need to reposition myself so that the Eldritch Blast is most effective.
So yes, and as you're you start whipping the wubs down on these creatures, they kind of they move as a pack. They move as a unit. So some of those that are kind of pushed back, just the others kind of follow in suit. So they are further back.
Great. Okay, so I just need to figure out how I can maximize my target range. Somebody else can go. If I move myself, it's going to be very little. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, absolutely. That is perfectly fine.
Okay, so just so I don't waste other people's time while I try to figure out what maximizes my target range.
Okay, so I need to do a thing. So Kira, it is not yet your turn. You are standing over there. As you are moving in that direction, the temperature seems to markedly drop to a point of near discomfort. And as you draw
I'm resistant to cold.
close enough, you see kind of emerging from between the trees and in the mist, this massive wolf. I need, first and foremost, you... Hang on one second. Okay, that doesn't happen. All right, cool. So it kind of steps forward as just this kind of slow, languid steps. And you hear this low, guttural voice speaking to you softly as it draws near. And it says, "I see the wolf has chosen more champions. Let us see if you fare better than the last." And it breathes on you.
Yeah.
I would like you to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Sure. I made it to 19.
All right. That is a failure. However, you are still resistant to cold. So you will still take half of the damage.
Yeah.
Half is 25.
Okay. There went my 10 hit point.
And that, for the time being, is where it's going to end its turn. So, not last, but next, Malin. You are a bit spoiled for choice here.
I am a little spoiled for choice. What the hell? I'm gonna run at the White Wolf, because whatever. He's snarky and pretentious.
And pretension does deserve to be smacked in the face.
Amen. Alright. Hold on, please.
Since Brian is not here to flash the sign, there y'all go.
Love it.
have to bring you with me so you can hear my math. Okay.
That's fair.
So do I need to give you cold damage separately, I'm thinking?
Well, real quick, what is your speed?
My speed is 35.
It is currently 55 feet away from you.
All right, then I guess I'll do a dash action to get there.
Okay.
And then I can't do anything, so I'll just be there mean mugging it.
So you are rush up to it, snarling the entire way, probably questioning its parentage.
Probably. And looking at it going, you're going to make a really nice coat.
I have to ask, is it in fact Dick Punch a Clock?
It's always Dick Punch a Clock.
That will never cease to amuse me. And now, last but not least, the Slod.
Ha ha. Well, the Slod is going to go after some of these wolves that are around us. It gets to make 4 attacks.
It's a lot of attacks. Damn.
That is a lot of attacks. So, 30 for the first attack.
That will hit.
25 for the second attack.
Also hits.
27 for the third attack.
Also hits.
And another 27.
Yeah, all of them hit. Roll me some damage.
Beautiful.
And you just give me all the damage.
Okay.
Because I do not believe the Slod's attack count as magical. Unless it says otherwise.
Well, let's find out. I guess for the Slod, it doesn't specifically say that its claw attacks are magical.
It would call it out, so yes.
Ooh. Okay, well, 21 on the first, 17 on the second, 16 on the third, and another 16 on the fourth.
All right. Wait, that's not right. So yeah, you see it charges up with this kind of ululation of sound, and it starts slashing into the wolves in a panicked, near panicked frenzy. The wolves are taking damage, but they seem to be somewhat resistant to it.
Okay. Still a good amount of damage, even if they're taking half.
Yes, that was actually a fairly incredible amount of damage, considering that they only took half. So next is Katie.
Cool. Katie. What is Katie gonna do? And they're kind of still surrounding me, right?
No, they got pushed back by
Oh,
Adira's
that's right.
repelling blast.
That's right. So he actually had to move over to them.
Yes.
Wow.
figured that'd help you get up without, getting hurt.
Yes, you are still prone too.
That's right. I'm going to stand up then.
All right, that is half your move.
And then... I didn't use that yet. Oh, I don't want to use that yet. I am going to... Oh. Well, now here's a question. Since the Slod got summoned with the hair clippies...
Yeah.
Summon spells are normally duration of, or have a concentration aspect to them. Do I have to keep that up as a concentration spell, or is it done on its own? Done on its own?
It's done on its own. It ends when the spell ends. The hair clippies are doing the concentrating for you.
Sweet.
So unless somebody specifically targets all 6 hair clippies in your hair, now 5.
Beautiful. I'm going to cast Maelstrom.
I feel that this is a course of action that you can take.
So 30-foot radius, centered just far enough that it's going to swirl in all the wolves and stop just short of the Slod.
Sounds good. Is there a save associated with that?
There is, but they make it when they start their turn in the area.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
So it's basically the wolf washing machine.
Yeah.
Yes. Just making sure they're clean before you turn them into a coat.
That's a...
I appreciate that. That's teamwork.
And teamwork makes the dream work.
And that is all Katie will do for now.
All right. Next, we have the lair action. I need everybody to make a strength saving throw, please.
Oh. I don't want to.
Adira's floating in the air.
Adira, you do not need to make a strength saving throw. Thank you for reminding me.
I was going to ask, does that make a difference? Apparently it does. Thank you.
14. Not terrible.
23 for Kira.
Okay.
21.
All right. And for the Slod, too, please.
Oh. Look like it has any specific saves.
So it'll just be its strength modifier then.
Ooh. Slod got a 5.
Okay. So as you are all kind of confronted with these varying different creatures and monsters, suddenly like the roots and the foliage all around your feet start to kind of creep up and start grabbing onto your legs and ankles up to your calves. Malin and Kira, you are able to kind of yank your feet free so you are not restrained. However, Katie and the Slot are both restrained.
Ooh.
Adira, you see several of the vines kind of starting to turn to reach up, but you're too high for them to try to grab. That is that. So that will bring us to Kira.
Hi, that's
Hi,
me.
that is you.
That's me. So, question.
Answer.
If the hair clippies will do the concentration for the hair clippy concentration spells, will the Orbis do the concentration for the Orbis's concentration spells?
I would say you don't know. Find out, get hit, and see what happens.
Well, I'm asking because I have a concentration spell up already.
You're attuned to it. Yes, the Orbis will handle the concentration. So if you have a concentration spell and you use the Orbis, it'll still work. That's part of the reason why these things are so damn powerful.
Indeed. Okay. I am going to... anything about this creature, and it's probably pretty badass. Okay, we have a new toy. I cast Firestorm.
I assume you're avoiding Malin.
Of course I'm avoiding Malin.
Okay.
Not that mean. So it needs to make a dexterity saving throw. DC 16. While I find more detail.
Dexterity saving throw. 16, you say?
Yes, I'm assuming it'll probably save, because I'm guessing it's fairly dexterous.
Yes, it does save.
So it'll save for half. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, that's a pretty decent roll. That's a 10, 20. 26, 20, 26, 28, 37?
37?
Yeah, it would be full damage, so half of that is
18.
not nearly as cool as she was hoping.
So yeah, you summon, you kind of grasp the Orbis, you pull you pull the Warhammer into one hand and you grasp the Orbis in the other, and you kind of point it vaguely at the thing, and you see the blue flame that kind of floats inside the Orbis shoot out of it and then start to swirl over the top of this thing's head, and you see it kind of glance up and start to kind of move as the fire starts to rain down around it. It does take damage, but it's less damage than you were definitely hoping.
I was kind of hoping that since it's like a creature of cold, that maybe it would be vulnerable to fire, but that's fine. And I would have concentrated it like on this side of the wolf. Over here?
Hang on, jumping over. Okay.
Over here?
Yep.
Because then I'm going to move my 30, and I'm going to flank with Malin.
Sounds good.
So that is my action and my move. And as my bonus action, actions. As my bonus action, I am just gonna like, because it talked at me, it snarked at me, so I'm just gonna say, we're not champions of wolves, but you're still going to be defeated. I don't know, something like that. That's the end of my turn.
Okay, sounds good. After Kira is Adira.
Adira sends sees that the maelstrom of water with the dire wolves, looks over at Big Bad Wolf and says, you know what, that's the guy I really want to kill. And hits it many times.
Okay.
Hopefully.
You are far enough away from it that you will have disadvantage on your attacks.
I just did the math. No, I don't. 120 foot range.
The mist makes it full cover.
Oh, I see.
So if you want to do that, and I'm not saying you can't, but if you want to do that, you will have to move. You have to be within 30 feet of it.
Oh, to hit it from that distance? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I got enough attacks. Let's see what happens. Let's see here. We got a 23.
Misses.
Okay. We got a 32.
That will hit.
Okay. We got a 26.
Will also hit.
Okay. That was 3. That will miss. That was 4. 25.
It spends a reaction to dodge, and it misses.
Okay, and then one more. And then a nat 20 on that one for a total of 34. Let me roll it. Is there disadvantages on rolls to...
You don't have to confirm. If you roll a 20, you roll a 20.
Oh, okay, that's right. Okay, so...
So you roll... Hold on, though. You had disadvantage and you rolled 2 20s?
No, I didn't roll 2 20s. I rolled 1 20.
That's how you get a crit.
Sorry, that's right. I apologize. The last one would have been 31. I apologize.
Okay, 31 will still hit.
Yep. That was the only time I messed that up. I apologize.
Not mad about it. I was just checking.
I think that was a total of 3 hits out of the 6.
Yes.
So let me roll damage for that. 14, 21, 51 points. 36 points of force damage.
Okay.
Big difference between those two. 36 points of force damage.
All right. Were you using Repelling Blast or anything?
No, because I saw, hopefully, that they were flanking, and I decided to not ruin that for them.
So yeah, you start lobbing, and a couple of them just shoot off to the side. It does take a couple of them, 2 shoot off to the side. 1, it just kind of sidesteps, using its reaction for the round. But yeah, 3 of them slam into this creature, and it kind of doesn't make a sound really, but just kind of shrinks back a little bit in its spot, but then moves forward again.
And then Adira's gonna sit tight where she's at. She likes being 40 feet in the air.
Sounds good. All right, next we have the Dire Wolf. Actually, no, next we have the Winter Wolf is going to take a legendary action. For which I have to remind what it can do. It directs the Dire Wolf pack to pounce, which allows it to move up to its movement. It's going to provoke from the slod.
Okie dokie. Although the slot is still restrained, I believe.
Correct. It can still make its attack rolls, although I think... Let me double check a thing real quick.
It has disadvantage, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I'm checking.
Yes, restrained would give it disadvantage
Yep.
on attack rolls.
Then 25 to hit.
It still hits.
Beautiful.
The pack is quite large.
And that will be 21 damage.
All right. Again, you see it doesn't quite hit the way you'd hope, but it still hits. They are going to take their full attack action, because that is part of the thing, on you and Leoben.
Ow.
So...
Wait, the dire wolves were in the maelstrom. They have to make a strength saving throw first thing.
Oh, yes, of course. Of course. 24.
Alright, well, they make the save, but it still counts as difficult terrain.
Okay, their move is sufficient that they're still going to be able to get to where they're going. Alright, so they are going to do 3 attacks on you, 2 attacks on Leoben. So Katie, first attack. Oh, they roll these with... That's fucking ridiculous. 23.
Yeah, that hits.
22.
Yeah, that hits.
And 23 again.
Yeah, that hits.
Alright, so that is going to be 30 points of damage, and I will need 3 strength saving throws, please.
Ow.
Well, you roll your saving throws, I'm going to roll against your brother.
Uh, 10, 16, and 2.
Alright, you are prone again. Miraculously, even with advantage on their rolls, they still miss Leoben. All right. That was the legendary action that just happened there. Which will bring us to the next individual, which is the Direwolf pack. Great. It's like I planned that or something. You are prone in their space. As they start moving to both attack you and your brother, you are going to take 30 points of trampling damage.
Wait. Didn't they move into the space before I got prone?
They moved into the space. You were knocked prone. That was that was the legendary action of the Winter Wolf, who can cause them to move and take their turn. It is now their actual turn. So now you are taking the trample damage now that you are prone.
Fucking A.
Since you're down, they're actually going to concentrate more on Leoben than you. So 2 attacks on you. Although I don't think a 13 hits you.
No.
How about a 16?
That does not.
Okay, so they attempt to attack you, they miss. First one hits Leoben. That one misses Leoben. Second one hits Leoben, so he needs to make his... He is prone as well. He takes 2 hits. Which eats through his bonus, or his temporary hit points. But he is otherwise more or less okay for the moment. Alright, so that was the Dire Wolves. Leoben is prone. Sorry, I should do that. Okay. That is going to end their turn. Oh, dude, how big of a dick do I want to be? I don't want to be that big of a dick. It is Leoben's turn. He is going to get up as half of his move. He is going to draw the Wakizashi, which greatly increases his AC. Let me remind myself how much. Okay, so that is... Oh yeah, that's insane. Holy crap. I wonder his AC is so fucking good when he's got both of these things drawn. Alright, so with both weapons drawn, he is going to take his attacks against the Dire Wolves. Hits once with the sword, once with the Wakizashi. Will spend another point of ki. And hits both times with his flurry of blows. I'm narrating so that this is not me just rolling dice. Where'd all my d6s go? There they are. Okay. Okay. And that is all considered magical, so all of it goes through. So yeah, you see Leoben get pulled down by one of the wolves. A split second later, he does that kind of like reach back and kip up thing, drawing the Wakizashi as he lands on his feet. He gives kind of a snarky grin at the wolves and just starts fucking ginsuing the shit out of these things for a significant chunk of damage. You see that several of the wolves are kind of lying dead at his feet. After Leoben. Okay, so you've been standing there for that. The cold, Kira, around this winter wolf is super intense. And to such a degree that you've been standing there long enough at this point that it starts to really affect you. Now, again, you have resistance currently. So you will take, and this is halved already for you, a number of damage that I will find in just a second. There it is. So you will take 7 points of cold damage.
Can I use my reaction to cast Absorb Elements?
Can you read me the syntax of that spell? Because this is not like a spell that it's casting on you, so read me the spell real quick, just so I can interpret it.
It says one reaction which you take when you take acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage.
Yes,
The
you may
spell
absolutely do
captures
that.
some of the incoming energy.
Yep. Doesn't have to be from a spell, just any source. So yes, you may absolutely do that.
Okay. Also, the first time you hit with a melee attack on your next turn, the target takes an extra d6 of the triggering type. I assume it's immune to cold, but
It is, but you managed to negate the damage. Or
I did roll a 6.
Okay.
So I take 1 point of.
So you negate a good chunk of that damage. That's just its automatic thing, though.
That's rude.
Malin, I will say that it is getting awfully chilly around you as well. It hasn't affected you to that extent, but it's getting darn cold right where you're standing.
I got resistance too.
Fair enough. It is still darn cold. It is going to, just because it is very curious about how you taste, it is going to bite Kira and then claw Malin. It always liked the taste of Paladin.
There's a dirty joke in there somewhere. I just don't know where.
I'm just too fucking tired to think of it. Yeah, I get you. A 30, I presume, hits you.
Yeah, that'll hit.
All right. I need you to take 20 points of piercing damage, and then I need you to make a strength saving throw.
20 points of piercing damage.
Correct. And then Malin, a 24.
That will hit.
Okay, you will take... I assume you ranged on your last turn.
Yes.
So it would be 15 points of damage. You will take 7.
Okay.
I rolled a total of 26 for my strength save.
All right, so it snatches out with its maw and kind of grabs onto your leg, starts to try to pull your leg out from under you, but you kind of wrench it out from its jaws, leaving blood trails in the kind of sides of your leg. That didn't feel super great. Malin, you do not have to make a strength saving throw. It can't do that with a claw attack.
Hey, hydrate.
Oh, hydrating. Thank you.
Anybody watching should take a drink of water as well, because
I agree.
hydration is great.
That does make it Malin's turn.
Okie doke. Well, I need a new coat.
You do indeed need a white fur-lined coat.
I mean, that's just gonna look really good.
I know, right? Nothing like winter wolf
Alright.
pelt.
A 32?
I will also remind you that you were rolling with advantage. You definitely hit.
You are rolling at advantage because we're flanking.
Oh,
Roll a crit on this motherfucker.
that would be nice.
Crit dick
No
punch.
crits. Sorry. No crits. But I did hit again.
Awesome.
So do I need to roll cold damage separately?
I believe you are actually using Kira's fire falchion.
Oh, am I? Oh, that's right. We switched it up. Okay.
Because you
Never mind.
figured it was
We
going to be.
swapped.
Yep, that was
Yeah, we
last
did.
game. You're lucky I remembered.
Yeah, I totally forgot.
You do not need to roll anything separately. You can just give me the total damage.
Okay. Now let's watch me do math. Okay.
I mean, you're off camera, so we're not watching you do anything.
15, 16 plus 16 plus 18 is a lot.
34.
Yeah, 34.
Nice. Let me apply the damage here. 34 points of damage. Yeah, you carve into it, and you see the fire kind of crackling across, like as it interacts with the extreme heat interacting with the extreme cold. You see it seems a little taken aback. It's not super injured, but it was a little surprised by the ferocity of your attack. It is going to take a legendary action. As it kind of, you see it standing before you, and in your heads, both of you, Kira and Malin, you hear this kind of low chuckle. As the entire body freezes and becomes an ice sculpture of the wolf.
Well, that's
He
fucking
thinks his
weird.
shit don't stink, doesn't he?
Oh, I forgot
All right.
about this.
That's really cool. I just gotta say, as an observer, that's fun.
I have a bad feeling. Hoping this isn't some, like, hyped up armor of Agathis on crack. God. Also, I apologize for my excessive jumpiness. My neighbors 2 doors down have decided to set off fireworks in the church parking lot directly behind my apartment. I'm it's very triggering for me, so I will turn off my camera when that happens.
Okay.
Hopefully they're done.
David,
Yes.
it appears next to you.
In the air. That's exciting.
Actually, it appears... No.
Shit.
That is all it does, because that was its legendary action and not something else, but that is what it does. But yes, it appears literally like 10 feet away from you, its face just kind of equidistant to your own. And in your head, you hear the kind of end of that little ominous chuckle. All right, that was that. Malin just went. The Slod can go. It can attempt another strength saving throw. Schmoopsy.
It's gonna do that. And it gets a 14.
It is still restrained.
Well, fine then.
That does bring us to your turn, however.
Cool. As my bonus action, I'm going to cast Guardian of Nature on myself and go with giant or great tree form.
Okay.
And then as my standard action, I'm going to wild shape into a fire elemental.
Yark,
That would
yark,
be-
yark.
Immune to the exhaustion, restrainedness, and proneness that I currently am experiencing.
That's fair.
So I'm just going to do that real quick. And for my fire elementaliness, are they basically like a swarm?
Yes, that is fundamentally what they are.
Cool. Well, with fire form, when the first time I enter a creature's space on a turn, that creature takes some fire damage.
Roll that beautiful fire damage.
Hey, 10.
All of that
bad.
seems to go through.
And it catches fire.
And
So
they're on
until someone
fire.
Takes an action to put out the fire, it will take more fire damage at the start of each of its turns.
You are now standing in the midst of a pack of flaming direwolves. Hello.
And that's going to be my turn.
All right. That brings us to boop, the lair action. The mist around you seems to condense and intensify, making it nearly impossible to see. All attack rolls are made with disadvantage, and anything beyond 20 feet is you can't see it. That is the lair action. Boop, boop, boop. Which brings us to Kira.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you a question, and it's okay if the answer is that I don't know.
Okay.
Do I get a sense that like this is I could cast daylight, and I'm considering casting daylight, but if it's like, does it look like daylight would burn it off, or does it look like daylight would do that like weird thing with headlights in the fog where like actually that makes it worse?
I would say make a nature check.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm great at those. Okay, well, that's a total of 17. That's not bad.
Yeah, the DC was not super high. You understand the nature of your spells and how they kind of interact with the world around them. You've been around for a while. You're 14th level. Like you've been here a minute. You realize that daylight is probably just going to do that weird headlights in the fog thing.
Okay. Awesome. All right. I'll excited there for a second. I'm very confused about the ice statue in front of me.
I mean, you can make an insight check.
Okay, that seems like a good idea. 15?
What's your passive?
15.
Okay, that works out. Oh, we're in combat anyway. Yeah, it's super not there. That is literally just a statue staring at you.
Okay. So it's not like... Okay. Sure. Is it still really cold like it was?
The intensity of the cold has lessened.
Okay. I will move 30 feet. Oh, that's my cookie. That's move here.
Since you know it's not there, I'm going to take this off the board.
And I am going to stupid, but I worry about trying to do something that's like an actual attack roll right now. So I'm gonna cast Fireball out of my orb and not hit Adira.
I will say that you actually cannot see the creature right now outside because it's beyond that 20-foot radius. And it was beyond 30 feet before you moved, so you actually didn't see it appear next to Adira.
I didn't see where it went.
Yeah.
Shit. I will ready fireball for when I see it.
Okay.
Assuming that I can do so without hitting one of my companions.
Thank you for adding that qualifier. All right. Is that going to end your turn, Kira?
Yes, so...
As a legendary action, the Winter Wolf is going to make an attack on Adira. And by an attack, I mean all of its attacks.
No.
I feel singled out. That's fine.
I'm not sorry. I could be sorry, but I'm not. 30. And I just gotta double check. So that'll be a 24 for the second. And a nat 1.
All right, hit me. What do I got?
You are going to take 20 points of piercing damage, 15 points of slashing damage,
Come on.
and I need you to make a strength saving throw.
Can I be dragged if I'm in the air?
You can, in point of fact.
Okay. Well, that'll be fun. 18?
18 is not enough. It grabs you kind of around your middle with its maw, kind of tries to rake both claws across your back, but the one just is kind of an awkward angle, so you just get the one across your back, and then it throws you at the ground. You were 40 feet up.
Yeah?
Do you have a reaction that would allow you to do like feather fall or something like that?
Oh, shit. That's not the right math. I was at. Okay. Do I have that? Try to see what my reactions are. Well, unless you allow me to use a bonus action as a reaction, no.
All right, so it whips you at the ground. You will take... That'll be 12 plus... Give me a second... 20 points of bludgeoning damage as you slam against the ground.
Well, that hurt.
But that does make it Adira's turn.
Oh, Adira disliked all of that. So knowing that she can't really hit it well, she's gonna cast Fireball on it.
All right. You are outside of the 20 feet, but with your AoE, you are definitely going to be able to at least get a piece of it. So you cast Fireball. Dexterity save, correct?
Yep.
Where's the fucking dice? There we go. Ooh, it does not see that coming.
Yay!
So 9. No, it does not make it save.
So that takes 10d6 points of fire damage. So give me a second here.
Yeah, take your time.
Apologize.
Roll the hot wet pain.
19, 21.
I don't know why it had to be wet. I
It's
apologize.
definitely
for that.
not wet because it's fire. 43, 49. Takes 49 points of fire damage.
Yeah, it takes all of it. Yark!
And then Adira whips the fuck away to someplace. Let me see where that is. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Sorry. So many different icons on...
Oh, yeah,
Oh, funny.
I get it.
I want to be a place that is not near trees. Because she still technically has the spell active. Whips it 40 feet into the air, far away.
Okay.
Put it that way.
Sounds good. Kira, what is your passive perception? 20 something?
20 is my
20?
passive.
You did see kind of off and away, again, just and the only by the merits of the fact that, when bright lights happen in fog, it lights up like a fucking, nuclear bomb explosion. There is a massive kind of woof, kind of 40 feet up and a little ways distant from you. I will say it is up to your interpretation whether or not that would trigger your ready to action.
Yeah, I would like it to.
Okay. Do you cast it in relatively the same area?
I do. I try to cast it like right where the was.
Okay. So you grab the orb out again, you kind of point it in that direction, and the fireball kind of shoots out from there. I will roll its dexterity save.
My DC is only a 16.
Okay. It does make a 19, so it'll take half of this. Apparently the first one prepared it, got it ready for what was about to happen.
3 cold. Where are my D6? Okay. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5. Yeah, let's use our blind GM die.
Ooh.
Purple. Pretty. Oh, that was not great, but your die rolled a 6, so there's that. Only 24, so it'll take 12.
12. You do hear a slight yelp of pain from that vague direction. Let me just double check one thing real fast. Okay, that's that. After the Adira, the dire wolves get to go again. So Shmoopsy, if you would kindly roll that fire damage.
I would love to roll that fire damage. They will take another 8.
All right. Were you still prone? Or did you get up?
I became a fire elemental that is immune to prone.
Ah, you are now a fire elemental. They are still going to attack you, but this is going to be way less effectual against you. You now seem to be the bigger threat than your brother, so they're pretty much going to concentrate on you. Because, you're now a fiery burning being.
Yeah, I am.
17.
That will hit.
Second attack is a 23.
That will hit.
Third attack is a 16.
That will actually miss.
Okay, so those 2 hits are going to be 20 points of piercing damage. You're immune to prone.
Is it magical piercing damage?
It is.
Okay.
And then the 2 attacks on your bro. Miss. They need a nat 20 to hit him. And miss. His AC, when he has both of those things drawn, his AC goes up by 8.
That's a lot.
Yeah. All right. This does bring us to Leoben's turn. He is going to attempt to moralize them some more. Hits once. Hits a second time. He's going to save that key, though. However, boop. Because you are not prone and are providing that, I'm going to give him that. If I can fucking find it. There it is. All right. So yeah, he starts tearing into them again with the blades, this kind of whirling dervish of pain. It looks like the wolves, there's only a couple of them left, and they're not looking so hot. The winter wolf gets to go. So first... Okay. So... and and nobody's around to see it. Leoman's around to see it. Katie could probably see it, maybe? Hang on, let me do a thing.
I mean, I am shedding bright light in a 30-foot radius and dim light in another 30-foot beyond that.
You can't see it super well, but from this general vicinity, there's kind of at ground level, there's a sound. Like something hit.
Interesting.
Malin, there's a winter wolf behind you. So that was it is going to get
Right.
Yep, it is going to get one attack on you before you get to go.
All right.
It's going to attempt to bite you with its teeth. Rawr.
I taste bad.
I don't think it agrees with you. 29.
Yeah, well, it got a good piece.
All right, so you will take... That's the pack of wolves, not the winter wolf. 20 points of piercing damage, and I will need a strength saving throw. I will remind you that you are raging, so you get advantage.
All right, hold on. Nat 20 on the strength throw.
All right, kind of the
So it's
same.
like
Oh,
20.
the 20 points that you would have taken, that's halved because you're raging, so that's 10. Yeah,
Okay.
it snaps at your ankle area and tries to yank your feet out from under you, but you manage to keep your feet. It is your turn.
Okay. Is it move? It's not running. It's blinking. Am I correct?
Yeah, it seems to... You're not 100% sure what's happening, but it just appeared right behind you just now. When
Yeah,
it disappeared,
so
like, the fucking ice sculpture is still where it had been standing.
That's ridiculous. Okay. So, okay. Because I have a thing that I can make something slower, but I don't think that's going to do any good if it's, blinking everywhere. Okay. All right. Well, let's just straight up kill it.
Murder, 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 murder.
I don't like that. I like that better.
If you want to roll recklessly, you can get advantage on your attacks.
Okay.
Wait, hold up. Not to be like, whatever, but is that really condensed fog still happening, or was that a temporary thing?
That will happen until the next lair action turn.
Okay, got it.
So I missed. Well, with that plus, I might have. So does a 20 hit?
20 does not hit.
Dirty. Okay, so dirty 20 does not hit. Okay. Does a 26 hit?
A 26 hits.
Okay, so I rolled one. I got him once at least. Mm. 18 points of damage.
Nice. So yeah, you kind of swing laterally, and it kind of scooches back a little bit, but you reverse it and kind of stab into it, completely unexpected. And yeah, you cut it open. You see the fur kind of burning away where the fire damage leaves in its wake. Slotty McSlaughterson. Schmoopsy the Slod.
Oh. Slod. I heard slot. Slotty McSlaughterson. And I'm like, who the hell is that? Slot is going to attempt to make a new strength saving throw. Oh. Because why not? 16.
It starts to try to pry it off, but then they kind of wrap around it anew again.
Boo. Well, I guess that's the Slod's turn.
Katie.
Cool. It's the first time that I am entering the wolves' space, so they will take another 2 fire damage.
Okay.
And then, I have to do the thing real quick. Okay. All right, good. I am going to fire punch them twice.
Fire punch.
'Cause that is a thing that I can do. Just gonna go with this because it makes it easy. 22 to hit.
You definitely hit.
Second is only going to be a 12.
That does not hit.
Ooh. Oh well, I hit them the once, and it will take. Nice. No. 12 or 13. 13 points of fire damage.
Okay. 13 points of fire damage.
And if it wasn't on fire before, it's on fire again.
As you slam into it the one time, or you attempt to slam into it twice, the first one misses. The second one hits home. You see the last of the wolves kind of yelp and collapse.
Ha
As the dire wolf pack is now no more.
Beautiful. Then I'm going to start walking. Let's see, how far can I go? Right there. Bloop. And start moving towards the wolf.
Okay.
And then bonus action, I'm just using a spell slot to heal myself a little bit.
I will tell you this right now. As you kind of pass over this area right here,
Yeah.
there is a damaged and shattered sculpture of what appears to what might have been once a large wolf made out of ice.
I try to melt it as much as possible as I move through and past
Yeah,
it.
you definitely, as you kind of move past it, like you see chunks of it starting to melt and rivulets of water start to go into the ground.
Much as being made entirely of fire can stomp on something, I do that.
Fair enough.
Fire stomped.
Fire stomp.
Oh yeah, and I got the tree thing up, so I'm like a burning bush right now. Burning bush stomp! And that will be Katie's turn.
All right, it is the lair action. I will need everybody but Katie and Leoben to make a Constitution saving throw. Right, Katie and Leoben? Nope, Leoben needs to make... Katie and Adira, that's who I meant. Katie and Adira needs to make a Constitution... Katie and Adira do not need to make a Constitution saving throw. Everybody else does.
Sweet.
22.
I rolled a whopping 4.
Slod gets a 12.
All right. 22, did I hear, Kira?
That is correct.
All right, I got to do one for Leoben real quick. Oh, that's a nat 20 right there. All right, Malin and the Slod. The trees closest to you, once again, as you saw with Katie, those faces start to writhe and move, and those faces kind of press themselves out and just start to suck in, and you feel your essence start to leave your body. You gain a point of exhaustion. So going forward, you will have disadvantage on ability checks with that 1 point of exhaustion. So that is the lair action. Boop.
So the fog drops.
Yes, the intense fog drops. You now could definitely see the wolf if you were within 30 feet.
You motherfucker, stay put.
That does make it... well, no, it's going to take a legendary action and attack Malin. Actually, no, it's just going to do that, because it sees that Malin is not responding super well to the physical damage that was done to it. Malin, make a dexterity saving throw, please.
A dex?
Yep.
Is that what you said? All right. I rolled a 17, but if that doesn't make it, then I want to use my ring of evasion.
Okay, it does not make it, so you use your ring of evasion. You succeed on the save. You will take half damage.
Yay me.
And I don't remember what flavor of barbarian we made you. What path are you?
Duh. I don't know. Hold on.
If you go under your class features, if you hit features and traits and then go down to class, it should tell you path of the something or other.
Path of the Berserker.
Okay, so you do not have the totem, so you will take half of this damage. So that is 25 points of cold damage as you see the winter wolf exhales and this intense cold wraps around you, and leaves a pretty intense frost on your flesh.
I have a resistance to cold, so I
You
take half of the...
take half of that again.
So... half of 25, or we rounding
12.
up or down?
We
12.
Damage we just roll down. I'm not going to fuck with it.
Okay. So
yeah, it breathes on you again, and you're at first you're like, oh fuck, and then you're like, oh yeah. And it kind of, you see the winter wolf looks a little disappointed that it wasn't quite as effective as he was hoping.
I flip him the bird.
Kira.
Fuck this guy. Kira is gonna use her 30 feet to flank again. Because we can. And gonna hit it with the Warhammer.
I'm gonna hit him with the Warhammer.
Hit it with the Warhammer. Will you stay put and just die? 26 on the first.
You will hit.
Oh, I have advantage because I'm flanking with Malin. That's a hit. Okay, and then the second one.
You are flanking with Malin.
Natural 20.
Okay. Roll that damage.
Okay, so on the first hit, I'm assuming this is neither fiend nor undead.
It is not.
Okay. It'll take 7 plus 8 is 15 magical bludgeoning.
Okay.
And then 6 points of radiant.
Okay.
And then on the second hit, I will use one of my spell slots for Divine Smite, because I can.
Might as well.
And... I mean, fuck it. We'll use our 4th level slot. What correct does that? Alright. That is gonna be 8 plus 16 points of the bludgeoning.
Okay.
And then for radiant, we have 6, 12 plus 5 is 17 plus 4 is 21 radiant. Oh, but I didn't double any of that shit. So
So it would have been 32 for the first one.
hang on. So the radiant, I said 21. So the radiant would be 42. The bludgeoning damage, I rolled an 8 on the die, so it would be 16 plus 8, which is 24. So 24 bludgeoning, 42 radiant.
Okay. You hear once again that kind of low chuckle.
I don't like it when he laughs.
in your head.
Very unnerving.
And I will say you all hear that low chuckle in your head.
That's creepy. And that is. I don't have healing. I'm not there. Sorry, getting some Rhiannon spells mixed up in my head. That will be the end of my turn.
Okay. It will take its second legendary action of the round. It's going to bite. It's going to bite Kira and then take 2 claws on Malin. Nat 20 against Kira. It hits. I know it doesn't crit.
That armor has saved my ass so many times.
Yes. Total of 20 and 27 to hit Malin.
Both of them hit.
All right. Malin, you are going to take... Well, it'll be halved because you're raging, so you will take 15 points of slashing damage that is already halved.
Okay.
Kira, you are going to take 20 points of piercing damage, and I will need a strength saving throw.
Yeah. Oh, I rolled a 5. That's a total of 10.
Okay.
That's a fail.
So you see it lash out with its jaws, grab your ankle rather unexpectedly, chomp down, and then yank, and you're flat on your back. Then it whirls and claws in this weird, like, it's got a surprising amount of dexterity for a dog canine creature. Rips across Malin's chest, but again, Malin's just pure visible rage keeps her from getting too badly injured.
Oh, road.
Adira.
So I got a question.
I have an answer.
This thingamajig I'm pinging on the thing. You see it?
Yep, I sure do.
Is that a tree?
That is a
or
tree.
Just okay. How high does it go?
30 feet.
Okay. Okay.
Figure these bigger ones are closer to like 70.
Yeah. So, fuck it. Adira's gonna whip over here, because fuck this guy. And then hit him as many times as she possibly can. Without disadvantage anymore, because she's within 30 feet.
Yes, apparently Schmoopsy wants us to drink a bunch.
No. Well, in that case, pause.
Gotta stay hydrated.
Right.
You gotta call them out because I don't see them necessarily.
Sorry,
Now-
I'm down on my game.
Okay. 29, 27,
Yep. And, yep.
29, 26,
26 will hit.
at 20, and a 20 dirty, which I don't think hits.
20, the dirty 20 will not hit, but the rest of them do.
Okay, great. But to get the critical, it's like the other one hit. So that does 30, 35, 42, 67 points of force damage.
Nice.
Nice.
And then Adira, she whipped down there. She has some movement technically that she could take. She gonna get away from the damn tree because she knows it's not healthy for people.
Yeah, those trees
She
are...
at least,
Those trees
she
are
at
dicks!
least figured that much out.
That's fair.
And thus will conclude Adira's turn.
The laughter kind of... you hear the laughter, you've all been hearing this laughter, and it's been almost... like, it's not been automatic and like the same thing over and over again. It's definitely the same kind of organic chuckle, this low menacing, but it turns to a laugh of actual joy at this point. And the wolf was take its final legendary action of the turn. and it will lay down on the ground and roll over and show its belly. Make a nature check.
Everyone?
Ooh, all of us?
Everybody who can see it, everybody within 30.
Does it want belly rubs? What the fuck?
That's Malin after rolling a nat 1.
11 for me.
Malin, what did you roll on your nature check?
$15.
It was not a high DC, but it was better than an 11. Kira, you're focused in like tactical mode. Like, okay, now we got to do this. We got to do this. I gotta get up. Like, that's the first thing I gotta do is I gotta get up and then fuck this thing shit up. Malin, you see it do the universal sign of canines and dogs and wolves of submission. It's giving up.
Is Malin telling us?
Malin, if you're speaking, you're on mute.
Sorry, I'm on mute. I'm like, I think it's giving up. This is wolf pack behavior. This is what you do with the alpha. Are we the alpha?
At this point, are we out of combat, or...?
Well, I guess my question is, like, you all heard what Malin said. Leoben, he would be next. He's going to hold off.
I mean, have we only communicated with it telepathically?
It spoke to Kira, and you've been hearing laughter in your head.
Okay.
I
mean, I'll say, is this your submission?
You hear in your head, yes, that was delightful. Thank you for the sport. And you see it kind of roll back. It kind of rolls back over on its. It's still laying down, like it rolls over on its belly, and for all the world, it looks. Imagine a river, but like the size of a Clydesdale.
Wow.
I give it scratches
I'm
behind
like
the ear.
really thinking about it, like, oh, it's Jago boy. Oh,
And you see it like, so the rest of you, as you're like descending and approaching from this weird, you see Malin and Adira, or not, Malin and Kira are like scritching this, and he's like, he's fucking into it, man. Like, he's rubbing up like into their hands and just like, he's like, oh, that was, and you like broadcast widespread, you hear that was delightful sport. Thank you. It has been centuries since I've had that much fun.
Everyone's limping over like, oh my god.
As Adira kind of floats over, she says very politely, "This may feel free to say no, but may I ride on your back?"
I will make you a deal. As you see it kind of stand up, and it shakes off, and you see, as it shakes off, like it's kind of like a wet dog, but instead of droplets of water, literally snow shakes out of it. And like being close to it up to this point has been this intense cold, and you see like it's still cold, but it's not like to a point where you're going to get hurt. And you see as it stands up, as it shakes and the snow kind of falls off of it, you see the wounds that you had incurred upon its heal completely.
Nice. Is anybody in need of healing?
Not desperately.
It looks over at Adira and says, I can give you one quick spin around the forest if you're interested.
Adira's face brightens up. She's still battered and bruised from having been tossed on the ground. She's all mussed up. She usually would have prestidigitationed herself to look immaculate by this point, but she is so excited about the prospect of being able to ride on Wolfie's back that she gleefully glides down and sits on its fur and says very pristinely, "Thank you."
and it bounds a couple of big loping bounds across the ground and then leaps into the air. And it's still moving like it's running on the ground, but it is now flying through the air and does a big loop. And I think at that point we're going to go to our bio break because we've been going for a little longer than 2 hours at this point. And when we come back, we will continue.
Excellent.
So it is 9:25. Shall we do 10 minutes?
Yeah.
9:30, 9:35. We will be back.
Hydrate.
All right. Hi. Yes,
Hydrate.
I will hydrate. We'll be back in 10 minutes. right. And welcome back from break, everybody. Hope everybody had a productive break. I know I did, I guess. I don't know. Feels like that's getting weird.
Yep. Move on.
So, there we go. You all have defeated the Winter Wolf. When it returns with Adira, it kind of lands very gently. It lowers itself down so you can easily get off. And you see it kind of straighten itself up and kind of out of the woods. As it does, you see it kind of turn and look at the pile of corpses that is the direwolf pack. You see it clucks its tongue and a little bit and gives a low kind of, and you see the wolves kind of reform and kind of reshape, take their shape, and then they kind of look at the wolf and fade into the mist again. And you see kind of emerging out of kind of down that path that was in, kind of in the middle of that map. You see Wolf just walking. And you see the Winter Wolf kind of turns to him. And he says, "Are you satisfied?" And the wolf says, "Yes, that was delightful. Thank you. It's been many long years since I've had that kind of sport. The last ones you sent me were just utter. They were just crap." Yeah, well, sometimes it's hard to get good souls. "So, our deal is our deal?" "Yes, of course. You may give it to them anytime you wish. I promise," she turns to the rest of you, "I promise not to pursue you in the prime material plane, etc." And you see Wolf pulls the bracers, literally just pulls them off of his forearms and just holds them out for whoever's closest.
Adira will have to identify them and to see what actually they do, so she will take them if that's okay with everyone.
Sure.
The wolf just kind of grunts. And the Winter Wolf turns to you and says, "My name is Cryochin."
Ooh, spell that for.
Cryocczen. Cryochin.
Like cold.
And you see it, it says, "My name is Cryochin. I am a spirit of winter."
It's a pleasure to meet you, Cryochin. I am Kira Tierbo.
"Oh, I know who you are. All of you, in fact."
That's not unnerving at all.
"Oh, believe me, I'm not the only one that has taken notice. The various forces are aligning and playing their game fairly well. I am pleased to say that you are no longer pawns in this particular game, but you are still players. If you are going to go against the Shadowed One, you will need to be more than just pawns. However, you have done me a great service. I have not had sport like that in well over 1,000 years. So, in a moment of terrible need, you may call upon me. One time. And I will stand with you against whatever foe you ask. No questions asked. For as long as I am able. If that happens to be Akodaban, you see she shrugs her massive wolfy shoulders in a surprisingly human gesture. That is your choice.
That is very generous. Thank you.
She just kind of tilts her head to the side. She walks up and just kind of sticks her nose against each of you. It's a very cold nose, and it's always in a very, like your neck, your ear. Those of you who...
Really warm spot.
Yeah. Those of you who have kind of a nature, you realize that this is kind of just like a sign of affection. And then she turns and lopes into the woods.
And that's what we call earning a Deus Ex Machina.
Wolf just kind of snorts.
I mean, I will say I think we've earned all of the ones thus far, but...
He just kind of, well, you should be flattered. She doesn't do that for just anybody.
She let me ride on her back.
Yeah, I know.
That looks like fun.
It was. And then Adira looks down at herself. I'm a mess. And then it immediately becomes very regal once more.
All right.
Jesse, are you sassing Nightbot?
She is sassy Nightbot. I'm here for it, though.
Anyway,
Although, to be fair, Nightbot sassed her first.
that's fair. I think I have Nightbot's controls a little too strict right now. I'll have to go back and fuck with that later. But anyway, so Wolf just kind of looks at the group of you. Now what?
Still have 3 or 4 of these
Well, we still need
items.
to decide what we're doing about, and I kind of shake the Mordecai's skull. As, the only one who can use this particular one is Adira, but then we risk, like, Mordecai materializing somewhere.
Brief out of character, didn't we put it in the bag of terrible things for now?
Oh, we did put it in the bag, yeah.
Yeah, just because and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what we decided is that, like, if, like, we'll use it eventually, but, like, right now, we don't see the need to. Is that what we decided? Yeah. Or, yeah.
I think maybe that's what we decided? I don't remember.
I believe that is what was decided, but if that needs to be changed, that is up to you guys.
That's fine. I did not have that in my notes, so... well, we have a few items left. We have 4 of them now? We do have 4 of them now.
You have the hair clippies, you have the Orbis,
We have 5 of them now.
you have the braces
We
of the
have
wolf,
The bracers, we have
the
Shocks,
stole. You have
and we have the swords.
2 left. You have the one belonging to Justinian,
Mm-hmm.
and the one belonging
one-
to Kobar.
To Kobar. So, last we knew, Kobar would have been buried in a monastery up in the Thrufells.
Yep, the far northern peaks of the Thrufell Mountains.
But Justinian was supposedly at Winterhold, so we could head back that direction, hit Winterhold, see if we can find Justinian somewhere, and then go up into the mountains. Or reverse it and do the mountains first and come back through Winterhold.
I actually have to look at the plane shift spell to see if because it could be that we could, like, literally, it could potentially be that it's not an issue either way. Like, we could get there like that, depending on where we want to go.
Well, if we can get back to the prime material, we can get back to Winterhold using Leoben's helm.
Yeah, Leoben's got the helm of teleportation, so...
Oh, that's, yeah, I forgot he's here, yeah.
Yep. So Wolf you're done here then?
Unless there's something else you think would be useful here. Unless there's any other hints or information, or...
I think I played my part more than enough. And he just kind of waves a hand, and the mist is gone. You are in Rowanthane Tower.
Okay. Thank you.
So...
Appreciate ya.
Echoing from beyond the veil of the plains, you hear, "Fuck off."
So
All right.
I need to identify this thing, and I need my beauty rest. But then shall we find Justinian? Or
We just slept. So,
that's
can
right.
you
we did.
identify the thing, and then we can use Leoben's helm to weep to Winterhold?
Sure. I identify the
Alright.
thing.
He's asking around
All
and
right.
getting information.
Please roll.
Yes. Was that Arcana?
Yes, that was Arcana.
Yeah. 21.
Oh, that's my cord. That's what I'm feeling. Okay, weird.
Yes, 21.
21. All right, so these iron bracers are feature a stylized wolf skull. I'm gonna pull it up on D&D Beyond.
Roll 20 or D&D Beyond? Oh, you're reading it from D&D
I'm
Beyond.
reading it from D&D Beyond.
Got it.
They grant dark vision out to 60 feet. If you already have dark vision, it increases your dark vision by 60 feet. Gives you advantage on perception checks. Gives you advantage on stealth checks. You can cast Pass Without Trace at will. Once per short rest, you can use the polymorph spell to turn into a dire wolf with no specific duration. You get the impression that there may be more abilities that you're unable to kind of see, but that is what you initially get.
Adira explains this. Who wants him?
I don't have any use for them. I would say probably Malin? I feel like those could be useful, particularly for, I don't know, or Katie, but Katie has the hair clippies. The bracers make sense to give to Malin, I think. You're muted, Beth.
Are you there?
Yes, we can hear you
Yep.
now.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think they sound cool. I would take them.
Adira just throws
Somebody
them to Malin.
Okay. As long as they're not like, I mean, it's wolf. Why do I feel like there's going to be something horrible that happens then on them?
There probably will.
Yeah.
I don't know. He doesn't seem quite as evil
He's
as
cool.
Mordecai.
He's not quite as evil.
They're probably not cursed.
That's comforting.
All right, Malin, I have added the Braces of the Wolf to your sheet. They do require attunement, and I see that you're full up on slots, so it is up to you if you want to attune to them now or hold off until later.
Let me look and see what I've got on there.
Yeah.
I'll have to think through it. What I've got, what I can get rid of.
That said, are you planning on heading to Winterhold?
Yeah,
Unless someone has a better idea.
sure don't.
So you see Leoben.
I mean,
Go ahead.
That's the easiest place to go at the moment.
Yes, you can. I mean, because you can teleport to Winterhold. You can't go to where you're trying to go in the Thrufells. You can get to the Thrufells, but since it's the entire west coast of the continent, that's kind of like I can get to California, not a specific place in California, but I can get to California. Or I need to be in fucking Northern California, but I can get to San Diego. So Leoben digs into his pack and he pulls out one of the pouches, the labeled pouches. And he says, nope, not that one. Nope, not that one. There it is. He's like, oh shit, I had 3 for Winterhold. Hang on.
I hand him my necklace. Take us to my mom's house.
Right, that's better. He takes your necklace. He's like, all right, everybody ready? Excellent. He clicks his heels together 3 times, and you weep, and you are now standing in the Bergland estate in Winterhold, in the dining room, and you very much startle Freya and what was the other one's name? Shit, I always forget this.
Alana. You
Alana.
can never remember her name.
I am
Yeah.
never going to remember her name. So you actually startle. And one of them was fighty, and the other one was socially.
Alana's the fighty one.
Okay.
Freya is the social one.
So, and I think that the reason why I get them confused is because Freya in Norse mythology is
I know.
more of a fighty one. So that's
I
why
did that on purpose.
well, you're killing me, Smalls. At any rate, so you appear in the dining room, and Freya, who's sitting at the dining room table working on something, kind of, Gah! Oh, God! Oh. Oh. Hello. Sorry.
Hello.
That rather surprised me. And she kind of she scooches her chair back and like goes and gives she gives Kira a hug. Fuck, man. It's gonna be bad the rest of the night. So yeah, she throws her arms around Kira, and then like she just goes around and gives everybody a hug, assuming it's accepted. Like if it's declined, she won't. But and she says, "You're back. Welcome back."
Thank you. We're on a bit of a hunt, bit of a quest.
Okay. I mean, that seems to be pretty par for the course for you. Is this a quest that has to be sought immediately, or is this a quest you can do after? And she kind of looks at the water clock on the wall, and she's like, "Is this a quest you can do after lunch?"
Well, first we need to gather some information, so after lunch.
Excellent.
Good.
She kind of looks at the big pile of papers and mess on her table. She's like,
Are you cooking or?
No.
Okay.
No, we wound up hiring a cook.
Excellent.
I was told one too many times that I'm not real good at that, so.
I've had worse.
Yes, but you've also had army rations, so. She kind of sighs a little bit with a little bit like an air of dejection, but she's not like it's kind of like it's a little put on. Like you can tell that she's not super butthurt about it. She's just doing it because she feels like it's amusing. She's like, "Give me a moment. Why don't you?" She kind of looks at you all. Yeah, and like not all of you are badly hurt, but some of you have some bruises and cuts from the last fight. She's like, "Why don't you go get cleaned up? I'll clean up this mess, and I'll tell the cook that there's more for lunch."
Okay.
Okay. So it is early. It's not quite afternoon. It's like 11 o'clock in the morning, 11:30 in the morning. In Winterhold, it is, I believe, high summer at this point.
Yeah.
So it's it's warm. It's warm here. It's probably in the we're gonna go with the mid 80s or so, and kind of humid. I am very much basing Winterhold's weather on Minnesota. Yep. Like Winterhold, in my head was kind of a Minnesota-y.
Well, you should have had everybody with a Minnesotan accent then instead of going Scottish.
Actually, no. I think Saul's Rest was more Minnesota-y, and so the further north, we're more like southern Canada. We're like Thunder Bay. So it's still warm during the summer, but it's not quite as warm. So maybe like low 80s, still humid, but not crazy humid.
Excellent.
I mean, there's a place in Canada that got up to like 126 degrees Fahrenheit, like
I mean,
last week.
Yes, but there's no global climate emergency in Saul's Rest, so.
Yay!
I mean, and on that downer, what do you guys do?
Well, after we get cleaned up and we're sitting down for lunch or whatever, I'll just, Small talk, small talk, small talk. All right, let's get down to business. Um, who do we know? I'll ask the moms. Who do we know who is particularly good with history surrounding Godfall?
She kind of, I mean, that was.
Who's still alive?
That's the trick, isn't it? I mean, the library was restored by and large. We didn't lose everything. And several of the librarians did survive the attacks. Otherwise, I mean, the church, all of the temples keep a record. But it's all kind of told from their specific perspective. So, kind of depends on whose point of view you want to hear the story told. The library will have less specific information, but it may be a little less skewed in the direction of one particular deity.
Escapism. What I'm hearing is that we need to do a literature review.
I mean,
I
if
think you are almost as excited as you were about riding on the back of that wolf.
Yes, that is correct.
you see
That is
Freya looks over at Adira. You rode on the back of a wolf?
A
Correct.
really
A very big one.
the winter wolf, in point of fact.
You rode on the back of a winter wolf? And it let you?
A very big one.
Yeah, I mean,
Adira, yes.
it was pretty awesome.
Adira nods with glee in her.
Well, at some point, and she's like, well, we're still in the middle of lunch. I think I need to hear this story.
Well, before Adira launches into her story, do we need any sort of permission or special dispensation for the library?
She kind of waves it off. She says, "Of course not. You saved the city, and then you served the city for 6 months. I think anybody that doesn't let you in is probably a tremendous pompous asshole."
He's not in charge of the libraries, right? Oh God, I hope we don't have to.
He is not, but he is still in charge of the church. So if you want to speak with him, if you want to get their perspective, then it may be problematic. Can I help you?
Someone needs cuddles. All right, Adira, story time.
Her eyes. Adira goes in probably. Do they know about like all the cosmic shit that's going on?
You genuinely don't know if they know about the cosmic shit that's going on. I mean, they know about
Okay.
Akodaban, but like as far as like the cosmology of the universe and everything like that, you're not sure what Freya may or may not know.
So then Adira's probably just going to put it in context of it's a very like powerful magical wolf that we had to, fight to impress it, and then after we proved that we were good sports, it let me ride on its back, which is really great of it. But I probably won't put it in the context of like, hey, we need to collect these 7 different items or whatever it is to.
So,
I'm not going to reveal that.
As you're kind of telling the story about this, she kind of is sitting there and she has kind of an odd, very intrigued, but an odd look on her face, and she says, This sounds very much like old tales that my grandmother used to tell me of the spirit of winter named Cryochin.
Well, I can neither confirm nor deny this, yet that.
Fascinating. Yeah, she rolled like a 25 on her knowledge check to know what the fuck you're talking about, so.
Did your grandmother tell you any tales about Godfall?
I mean, there's all sorts of tales about Godfall. I mean,
Anything about the is there like a name for the group of like for the 7 of them, or
just the 7 heroes is usually what they're colloquially known as.
anything about the 7 heroes?
I mean, we're talking stories and legends that are 10,000 years old at this point. So, yes, lots, but lots of contradicting stories, lots of things that don't necessarily corroborate. The stories seem to change with each telling. Near as I can tell, if I were to read between the lines, there's a group of 7 heroes, all of them of disparate natures and intentions, who banded together kind of despite their different natures, and found an ancient artifact and used it to end the God War. They call it Godfall because they used it to slaughter the majority of the gods.
Anything in particular about the one called Justinian?
Let me see what she knows about Justinian. Well, that's a nat 20.
Maybe we don't need that literature review.
Justinian actually is an interesting case. There are, of course, dozens upon dozens, if not hundreds, of stories revolving around each of the individual heroes, both before and after they became the 7 heroes. But Justinian actually grew up and was raised in the temple of Zaratsu here in Winterhold. It is said, well, many have said that he was the most humble and pious of Zaratsu's clerics. Bearing in mind that at the time, Zaratsu, Lunatara, and Karuth were all fairly minor deities in the pantheon. It was only after Godfall, when they became the only deities in the heavens, that they gained the power and ability that they have today. So Zaratsu was a fairly small and little-known deity, but his home is the main temple, even at that time, was here in Winterhold. The temple that stands to this day stands on the very spot that the original temple was built. It is built on the foundations of that original temple. It is said that he was raised by the church. He was orphaned, and raised by the church. She kind of gestures towards Adira. He would have gone by Hillborn, even back in those times. Where he came from before he came here, because the stories differ greatly, but he was between the ages of 8 and 12 when he arrived here in Winterhold, but the rest of his years were spent serving the church. It is often said that he was very pious, very humble, as one would expect of a cleric of Zaratsu, but also very brave. She kind of pauses for a second. And she makes kind of somewhat sheepish eye contact with Kira. Anybody that wishes to can go ahead and make an insight check.
Kira, 19.
Nice. Kira, I'll give you advantage because this is your mom.
Kira got a 24.
I'm gonna go with my passive, which is 15.
Okay,
With
fair
advantage,
enough.
that is a 24 for me.
All right.
I rolled a 19 on the die.
I mean, Katie, you get the impression that she's kind of holding something back, though you can't quite figure out why. Malin, she seems hesitant to kind of tell this next part in front of her daughter, but again, you're not 100% sure why. And then Kira and Adira, same thing they got, except for you get the sneaking suspicion it has to do with some part of the church, and she doesn't want to offend her daughter or her faith.
Kira, cover your ears.
Mom, it's okay.
I figured
Won't
it
be
was probably
offended.
about sex.
Does Malin say that?
Yeah, my mom always got that look on her face whenever they were talking. I asked quite too many questions about, dating.
She kind of laughs a little bit. Not specifically. So I will allow one of you, and you may choose who, to make an advantaged persuasion roll.
Not me.
You can compare numbers if you want. I don't care.
I got a plus 10. 10.
Oh, yeah. Adira can do it.
Okay.
I've only got a +3.
Alright, I got you. 26.
Okay. There are stories, generally not told by anybody who associates with Zaratsu's church or temple, about how he tended to treat those not of the faith. It was said that his belief was so strong that it ran to the zealous, and not necessarily in a good way. He would occasionally, there's many stories that are kind of told in the other churches and sometimes whispered in the backs of pews in the temple, but of his cruelty to those not of the faith. Of how he would cast out individuals who he believed to not be faithful enough as he grew in his strength and power. And while he did remain faithful to his vows, you do know, I mean, Kira more than anybody else, but you guys kind of get the impression, kind of higher echelons of Zaratsu stuff, like the Hierophants or whatever can take certain vows to kind of prove themselves and grant them some other abilities. One of the vows that is commonly taken is a vow of celibacy. She says, well, he stayed true to his vows in a strictly technical sense. My understanding, and again, if the stories are to be believed, is that it was pushed to the very limit of credulity.
So I was right. It was about sex.
She kind of, there's a little sigh, but it's not like, it's not derogatory. It's just kind of the like slight, like laughing a little bit at the breach in decorum. And she kind of, yes, I would say that would be an accurate statement.
Who was he supposedly shacking up with?
Well, the stories vary. Some say that he was involved with Lady Morgana. Others say that he simply had various tastes that he would indulge in involving parishioners of his temple. And he would... And she kind of holds up her hands. And again, these stories are 10,000 years old.
That doesn't... Okay. So the way you phrased that, are we talking non-consensual?
I don't... She kind of
So
pauses.
was he a hypocrite or a racist or a rapist? This is what I'm asking you.
I would lean more towards hypocrite. But I do not know that he wouldn't have used his... Based on these stories, that he wouldn't have used his position of power to influence individuals.
Sounds like a real dick.
She shrugs. He's been dead for a very long time.
So, bold prediction. Underneath the temple, I predict that we will find a very lewd, not quite sex dungeon.
I never saw it in the 6 months I was here and in and out of the temple, but I suppose
What would be in a
Maybe?
Zeratsu? What would be in a Zeratsu sex dungeon?
You know, I don't really want to think about that.
Well, now
I
that's
kind
why
of do. From a
Kira
purely
blushes really hard.
From a purely
right?
academic standpoint, mind you, but I kind of do.
You know, this is all I can think about now. I can't. I need to know.
Okay, I don't.
What was Zaratsu's weapon of choice?
You can go ahead and make a...
I
My
would
God,
know.
the
Just tell me.
it's Kira's deity. Adira would know just from like observing her prey. Or some shit like I'll make whatever you want me to
Make a religion check. Favored weapons kind of aren't a thing in 5e, but
18.
you're fairly certain that he preferred the greatsword.
So a lot of great sword shaped dildos.
Someone's overcompensating.
Wow, that went to place.
We are
Us.
we're this is mature, right? That's
Yeah, no, you're
Yeah.
good. I'm not mad about it. I'm just saying that went a place.
My brain went to automated sex toys within a Zaratsu not quite sex dungeon.
Oh my god. Yeah, no. Kira is bright red.
Just fertility statues as far as the eye can see with greatsword shaped dicks. Just.
All right, moving off of this.
That
'cause
got
this-
weird. Anyway.
this spiral.
Hail Zaratsu. Let's keep going.
So, with that information, is there anything else?
Not from them, no. I think we'll need to. Who's in charge of? Since I turned it down, who's in charge of the temple here?
There is currently an interim cleric in charge. He's a capable functionary, but he's not terribly experienced. Yeah, he goes by Father Baal.
Father, what?
Baal. B-A-apostrophe-A-L.
That's very. All right.
Father Baal.
That
Like a sheep. That was just
Old
mean.
Testament name, but name for what? The devil, but sure. Where comes Ratsu?
I believe the one you're thinking of is Baal.
Same spelling.
Different pronunciation. That's important.
Okay. Adira, do you still want to do a lit review?
I mean, it might be useful to triangulate. What I could do is see if there are any structures, because I do believe that he would be interred in a location that was dear to him, aka probably somewhere beneath one of the temples.
Freya kind of... his body was never recovered.
So a monument to him.
His
Well-
body was never recovered from where?
Where?
Wherever he fell.
Where did he fall?
We don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows where the final battle took place.
Well, that presents a challenge.
Now, likely as not, she's like, there's the catacombs beneath Zaratsu's temple, the catacombs beneath Winterhold are quite extensive, as you well know. Likely as not, in the aftermath of Godfall, in the following restoration period, I imagine they did erect some kind of monument, and there's still a memoriam to Justinian in the current temple. And perhaps somebody that has devoted their lives and lived their lives in the temple may be able to direct you greater than I can, but I only go on Sundays.
I just.
I'm a Caruth Day parishioner myself.
She says, like, there's days of the week, but she says the world equivalent of Sunday.
All right.
I was trying to make the Christmas anyway.
I was with you.
All right. I would think it might be useful to figure out where that. Well, first of all, visiting that monument might be useful, but if there was a monument in the catacombs itself, finding any sort of documentation within the city's, I don't know, what do you call them? Blueprints? What drawing up the city archives, drawing upon her experience with her parents, part of the clerks with the city, as Saul's rest, yada yada yada. She conjectures that there's probably something like that down there that they could probably use to find some sort of weird shit that might be this temple in the catacombs, if it does exist.
You may, Frey interjects, you may wish to speak with Brother Ebelum. Kira, you actually recognize this name, having grown up in the Zaratsu church here. Brother Ebelum is the oldest human you have ever seen in your entire life.
A really old dude?
Yes, and you're kind of surprised to hear that he's still alive.
He survived all of the attacks?
Freya says, "Look, I am a believer." She kind of gives the equivalent of the cross, but Zaratsu style. It's like dragon. I don't know. Whatever the fuck it is. She does it. She's like, "Look, I am a believer. I am a follower of Zaratsu, but that man is blessed far greater than any other human that I know. However, unfortunately, the years have taken their toll, and his memory is not always the best. But if you can find him in a lucid moment, he may be able to. He would know the temple better than any other person alive that I'm aware of."
Is he still at the temple?
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks, Mom.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Have you eaten enough? Here, eat some more.
I said no.
No, you're too skinny. Come on, eat more.
I'm not. I am so muscly.
Yes, I know. You need to eat more protein. You got a few of those muscles. At least that's what your mom always says.
I take a few more bites. Make her happy. Fine.
I think your mom is the equivalent of the Minnesota Lutheran.
Oh my god, is that why my grandparents always fed us?
Did you just have a Minnesota realization moment?
Yes.
Oh, that's funny. Anyway. Winterhold is your oyster. It is now about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You are so overfed.
I'm gonna be in a food coma.
Really, visiting him after his afternoon nap might make him be more lucid, hopefully.
Quite possibly. Do we want to do that? Do we want to go to the archives and look at them?
We need to, honestly, if we talk to the old guy earlier in the morning, most old people are more lucid during the morning. Sundowning is a thing.
That's fair.
That's why they eat dinner at 4 and go to bed by dark.
Also true.
I mean, that's ageist as hell and broad stroke stereotyping, but there's a little tiny grain of truth to it.
We could go to the library then, I suppose.
Deer's eyes brighten up.
Okay. Katie Malin, Leoben just kind of said, "I'll do whatever." Katie Malin.
Katie says BRB. So, off to the library we go.
Katie goes into the little elf's room.
I mean, picture
Yes,
a giant bull in a china shop, and that's a Malin in the library. It's like way too ADD to actually read a book, but
I mean,
you know.
I'm going to point out that your boyfriend is here.
That's true. I'm going to slip away, and I have a thing. Bye.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, book reading's not really for me. I'm gonna go get fucked.
Yeah.
So
Bye.
Say hi to Brad Pitt for me.
it's not really his name, you know.
Close enough.
He's the Brad Pitt. He's the Brad Pitt of dwarves.
So Malin, you go off to find Merrick, and we're gonna stick with you for the time being.
Okay.
So you go off to find Merrick, and you know where they've been kind of garrisoned. They're within the city walls, but they're kind of like on the fringes of the city walls. Although you're pretty sure that he spends a fair amount of his time at like the military installation.
Yeah.
At least based on some of the conversations you've had in the last 6 months. Sorry, I had a burp that was stuck. We're good. Okay. So you head off in that direction. It's a nice day. It's warm. It's warmer than you generally like, because again, you're more of a high altitude person. And you're like, how could a place that gets as fucking cold as the mountains get this fucking warm at the same time? But you're kind of walking your way through the street and kind of just taking in the sights and sounds. And Winterhold is really kind of, at some point during the latter part of those 6 months that you all had been working in the city, it really did kind of turn a corner. And oddly enough, like the city up until that point hadn't seen an elf inside the city, and I mean until the drow attacked, but an elf legally inside the city forever. And now, like, as you're kind of walking through, you walk through a couple like market squares, you actually do see a couple of elves, more of like a druidic nature persuasion, but a couple of elves doing some trade in the city. And as you're walking along, there actually is, as you kind of come across, as you're getting kind of closer to that like government center of the city, which isn't super far from where Kira's parents or moms live. But as you're getting to that kind of governmental center of the city, you do see there appears to be a building that, I mean, honestly, you didn't necessarily work on yourself, but you knew was being constructed, although you weren't really sure of the function of it. It appears to be kind of like it's not an embassy is probably too strong a word, kind of like a non-profit to kind of give some elves some representation in the city. And there are, as you're kind of moving forward, it has a name which I will come up with at some point. Didn't think of it. I had one, but it left. Anyway.
That's funny.
But it's like the Bureau of Elven Relations or some shit like that. Yes, the Bureau of Elven Relations. I mean, that's not any worse than Goop Wicket.
I was gonna go with EBI.
Elven Bureau.
Elven Bureau of. Wait, that would be EBR. Elven Bureau of Relations.
Yeah, that works. Let's go EBR. So it's the Eber. So you see the Elven Bureau of Relations. Elven Relations Bureau. ERB. Human Elven Relations Bureau. And now we
found
have
so many places.
No,
now.
hold on. No, I got this now. Human Elven Relations Bureau. And now it's Herb. I'm sticking with it. That's happening. That's now canon. That is now in my world.
Herb. Okay.
I am not mad
Very
about it.
British of you.
At any rate, so you're walking, you're like, Herb. What the fuck is Herb? And then as you get closer, like you see it actually written out as like Human Elven Relations Bureau. And you're like, oh, that's Herb. But standing out front of it is a fairly not a large group of people, but maybe like 10 or 15 people. And they're standing out front, and they appear to be protesting. They're all human.
Seriously? Are they carrying signs?
Ew, buggers.
They are carrying signs.
Oh Lord, what are their signs say?
Oh, it's very clever things like elves get out now.
Wow.
Various colloquial epithets for and racial slurs against elves, which I will not be getting into here. Although
Wow.
your son and Joe, I'm sure, can come up with
Oh, they have a list. They have a list.
But we will not be listing them in chat.
No, we will not. I think they left.
That's fair. At any rate, so yeah, they are protesting.
That's precious. Do they have all of their teeth?
I mean, it's a fantasy medieval equivalent world, so probably not. And yes,
Well,
it is a
I'm
world
just
of magic, but not everybody has access to it.
Are these like the rednecks of Winterhold? Is that what you're...
No, I would say probably not. I mean, there's a couple that I would say that would fall into that category, but there's a couple of them that are fairly like. They seem to be a little bit, what better dressed. I wouldn't say well dressed, but better dressed, and can comport themselves with a slightly they seem to be a slightly higher class of people.
Yeah, that's precious. That's just extremely special. I'm just gonna kind of walk by and try not to make a lot of. I'm gonna read their signs and kind of walk by. Anyways, I wish a motherfucker would. Would somebody say something to me?
No, they don't. I mean, you're a giant fucking Goliath,
Yeah,
and
I
so
wish a
they're
motherfucker would.
yeah, they're not so brave as to want to fuck with the Goliath, nor try to sway you to their banner.
I see no Goliaths get out banners, so.
Yes, you see no Goliaths get out banners, but you also don't see them they're occasionally they're mostly kind of doing like the circle, and there's a little bit of chanting here and there. They're not super rowdy or aggressive. They're just there, and that kind of bugs you.
Yeah, that's lovely. How wonderful. Kind of make a note to let Katie and Leoben know, don't come by here.
And you make your way past this and into the kind of the more deeper into the government district, and you eventually find yourself at the military headquarters. And sure enough, you see there's a kind of a mix of humans and dwarves in the kind of open yard who are training and sparring with each other. And sure enough, you see Merrick seems to be overseeing some of the training. As you walk into the open training yard, he turns and he sees you, and you see him he lights up with a big old grin, and you see him kind of turn to one of his seconds, and he just kind of chucks him on the shoulder, and you see him say something to the guy, and then he heads over to you. And then he kind of looks up at you because again he's a dwarf, you're a Goliath.
We're kind of the odd couple.
Yeah, a little bit. And he looks up at you, and he's like, Did I give him an accent? I don't remember. Did I give him Scottish? Was he Scottish?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
I don't know, but he should be.
He kind of looks
Sure
up.
he was.
Looks up and he's like, "Oh, you're a sight for sore eyes."
It's been a day. It's definitely been a day. You could use a drink. You could use a break.
I can take a break. And he kind of offers his arm, but up.
Buy a girl a drink.
Of course. And he kind of gestures. There's of course, right across from the military barracks, there is a tavern.
Well, duh.
And so he takes you across the street, and he offers to buy you lunch, but you just ate and you're a little full.
Yeah, I just ate so much food that I think I might die.
But yeah, so you have a drink or two. Do you regale him with tales of your adventures?
Yes, all the things.
And he will tell you about this incident that it didn't happen. He tells you it doesn't have and nothing really that interesting has happened lately, but he does tell you about this time shortly after you had left. This crazy fucking silver dragon shows up and starts attacking these people who were just making a delivery to Tristan. And it was after these people had gotten into a brawl with a couple of his dwarves.
Seriously?
Yeah, it was this whole thing. They were just this fucking green dragonborn motherfucker, a little elf guy, and I can't remember what Connor's character is.
He's human.
Human, and a human, and a wee slip of a girl too. Just don't understand. I came out of nowhere, but then they had this thing where they had to deliver this compound. It was a whole thing.
And a silver dragon?
A silver fucking dragon. I shit you not. I gotta say, though, it was surprisingly good on the architecture. Like, she didn't... The dragons had that rah thing, and you just scoop them up and throw them at the ground instead.
Well, that's, that's more efficient. You pick them up and you drop them.
That's what I said. It didn't destroy any of the architecture. Like, I wasn't real happy that they attacked, because it was a whole thing. But anyway, so he regales you with that story. And that's what they get for bowing out of the thing. That's when their characters get referenced.
That's right. That's funny. I will tell them that.
Okay. So for those lacking context, Beth is running her son and his friend, or her sons and her son's friend, in a campaign that is taking place in the same world. So the events that I just described actually happened during that time. And I was told they'd be watching the stream, but apparently they're not anymore. So you guys finish your drink, and he's like, so are you here for a short time or a long time?
I don't quite know. They're at the library. God help me.
Right, so probably a short time. Like a day or maybe a day?
Day or so, yeah.
So what you're saying is we should take advantage of the time that we've been given.
Yes.
My quarters are this way.
Let's go.
Fade to black.
Yeah, get it.
So
It's way more fun than the library.
you're not wrong.
Might as well be. Adira disagrees
I was gonna say,
wholeheartedly.
Adira would disagree.
All right, so the rest of you head to the library. Just a heads up, we are probably going to wrap at about 11.
Cool.
So we'll do some library stuff, and then we'll probably call it a night. So you head to the library, and I mean it did sustain some damage in the onslaught. Not so much during the occupation, but during the resulting. Once the attack began and the elves began their kind of burn it to the ground and salt the earth campaign, it did sustain some damage. But you see that it's mostly been repaired. The kind of it has a for description purposes, it has kind of the tall, had kind of the tall lofty ceilings. It has kind of a Roman-esque colonnade aesthetic to it. Big staircase heading up to it, and like two griffins, stone griffins, mark either side of it. Rumors, Kira, when you were a kid, rumors were that at one point they actually were living griffins, and that stood guards, it stood sentinel over the library. And when the living griffins had passed away, they built them as the stone statues in honor of their dedication and sacrifice for guarding the library for as long as they did. And of course there are some say that the ghosts of those griffins possess the statues to this day, but you were here during the fight and you don't remember seeing any fucking ghosts appearing out of those damn griffins, so and that would have been the time. So as you kind of walk in, Adira, that sense of you walk in and that smell hits you. And any person who has ever walked into a bookstore or a library, but more specifically a library, because a bookstore these days all have coffee smells on top of it. But just the library, that smell of the paper, the humid air outside is diminished significantly by just the existence of all this paper in this, and just that smell hits you, and just the smell of must and book and paper and knowledge. And just, oh God, it's just exhilarating. I might have a hard-on for a library, guys. I think I might need to work a few things out there. Anyway, Katie, I do have to ask. I know libraries aren't super your thing. Do you go?
No.
No. Where would you like to go instead?
moms. You could totally stay with the moms.
Oh, you know what? Katie is going to stay with the moms and tell embarrassing kid stories about Kira and Leoben.
You're going to tell kid stories about Kira?
About
No.
Leoben.
Katie is going to tell stories about Leoben and hope to get some stories about Kira.
Swapsies, I understand.
Yes.
Harsh, Katie, harsh.
I'm going to say that when... I'm going to say this because Brian's not here to defend himself. He decides to stay to try to defend himself. It fails,
Oh, yeah.
but he tries. So, Katie, I would like you to make, and because this is the moms, I'm going to give you advantage because I got to say it's not hard to persuade them to make a persuasion roll with advantage.
Oh, jeez.
To eke these stories out of the moms. And again, you have advantage because these are moms talking about their kids.
All right.
Oh my god, these are Lutheran... Never mind. Nope, you succeed. I'm like, these are Lutheran moms talking about their kids and telling embarrassing stories. No, auto success. It just happens.
Oh no.
You took a 20.
You took a 20. I mean, it just happens. Oh, God. And the dirt. Oh, the dirt. So, Schmoopsy.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm going to give you free leeway to intersperse in future conversations with Kira whenever you feel it appropriate. Details of embarrassing stories, and I'm going to let you use your imagination.
That's a lot of fucking leeway right there, Adam.
If it goes too far, I'll pull you back, but I'm not going to pull you back a lot. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yes.
So,
Well, also, they're little kid stories, so
Right,
they
they're-
can't be that bad.
right, I think probably the oldest...
You know, Kira tries to maintain a very specific persona.
And it has just been utterly
Not
dashed.
anymore!
Now, the really kind of amusing thing, at least for me, is the fact that Leoben is also present for these stories.
No.
So, Schmoopsy, I'm going to leave it to you to tell Brian the fun that you have learned.
Oh, no.
Excellent.
And
So,
I'm stuck with him for like millennia.
So it's the medieval version of bathtub pictures.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fucking woodcuts. Just... Aren't you glad that I haven't fucked with your parents too much? Wow, that is a good end to your part of the chapter, Katie. I love it. All right. So Adira and Kira go to this library.
Before we dive into our thing, I would remind Kira that it was her idea to go to her parents' place and to begin with. So really, this is all your fault.
That's fair. That's fair. I also did suggest that Katie could stay with them, so... Alright, I brought this on myself. Let's go to a fucking library.
I promise to use this power only for good,
And
or
comedy.
if it seems like a lot of fun.
That's... Knew I could count on you.
Fair.
I foresee this being much hilarity in the future. All right, so the two of you enter this library, and of course all that smell and all that blah, 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 exhilarating. However,
Hard on for libraries. Yep,
yes, I do. It's the thing that I apparently need to work out. So you see, however, as you walk in, the library is still kind of under some measure of repair and renovation. And therefore is in still somewhat of a disarray. You see a tall a fairly tall, I mean, for a halfling, a fairly tall halfling, all of 3'8", looking kind of harried, older, maybe, you can't really tell, but just this kind of mass, like lion's mane of just unkempt, very curly, like steel gray hair, this kind of harried, wild look in their eyes, wearing the kind of scholarly robes that you'd kind of expect to see of a librarian, and you see that they've got like a pair of spectacles, but you see that they've got spectacles kind of one perched on the edge of their nose and then one on their head. And actually, as you walk in, you see them kind of, where the fuck did I put those goddamn glasses? Kind of looks up and, oh, hello.
Adira points at the top of his head. Right there.
Oh. Pulls them off. Washes them off real quick. Takes the glasses perched on their nose, puts them on top of their head, and then puts those on. And turns to you. Can I help you with something?
Hello, yes. We need to conduct a full research project on Justinian. And I explained the title of Justinian, or not that you would need much explanation, probably. Hopefully multifaceted from a different perspectives and viewpoints throughout history, and from different religious standpoints as well.
Particularly, we're interested in the particulars, if any are known, of his death and what may have happened around that.
Rolling a dice. Ah, I see. Well...
You shaved your head. Sorry.
I
Go
did,
ahead.
yes. You see they kind of gesture. Pronouns are they. You didn't know. It's fine, but pronouns are they. They kind of gesture at the library. As you can see, we're kind of in process of reorganizing everything. A lot of things were damaged or destroyed. The Dark Elves certainly did not respect the knowledge that was here. But it's fine. It's fine. We're keeping it under control. Anyway, you can see that things are in kind of disarray. I do finally have the books that are legible organized at least by section. What you're going to be looking for is ancient religion pertaining to Godfall, and that is going to be kind of in the back. Like, they give you directions. They're pretty exacting directions, if I'm being real honest. Like, they're very specific. And it, like, down to the... And most of the books you're looking for is going to be on the second shelf, like, third down in the middle stack. From there, kind of down in the next several stacks of books after that. I have to warn you, the elves did pay a specific attention to the destruction of books from that era. So what we have, unfortunately, is what survived.
We'll do what we can. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. If you need any assistance at all, and you see them kind of look back over the just mound of work in front of them, call me as a last-ditch effort. And they turn and start continuing their work.
Did we get a name for them?
Do you ask their name?
Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Oh, yes, I'm Librarian Harbion.
Librarian Harbion?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, librarian. Harbion.
Either one works. And you see them turn back to the books. Is like, now where did I... Oh, right. And switches the glasses again and starts going back to work. Yes, Harbion, the non-binary librarian with ADHD.
I'm here for it. We head back from their very specific directions.
And turns out their directions were spot fucking on. Because I rolled a nat 20 on their knowledge check. So, I would like, because of the kind of interspersed information, the gaps in the information, what books are there are it like, and you see like there is still a shitload of books, like easily 24, just pertaining to Godfall and the Seven Heroes and what have you. I would like you both to make investigation checks. You can either roll separately or one of you can aid the other.
Not a religion check.
You are investigating, looking for specific information, books. You're looking for specific books. So in order to find it,
why don't you aid me?
Can I go ahead and aid Adira?
that's fair.
Nice. 25.
Okay. It takes probably an hour of fair, because like the books that are here are the ones that survived. They're still pretty badly damaged. So a lot of like the titles and writing on it have been obscured, only by virtue of the fact that you had help from Kira, and you had very specific instructions from Librarian Harbion. Are you able to even kind of narrow it down? But you narrow it down to about 3 books that pertain to specifically Justinian and his kind of life and death. So now I will say, as you're perusing through them, you may roll either individual religion checks, or once again you may roll with it. One of you may roll with advantage.
I'm definitely aiding Kira in this regard.
God. Well, we'll just roll this one twice. Well, I put 19 on the die. I rolled a 19 and a 20. I shit you not.
Nice.
So that's a total of 26 with my net 20.
All right. So this kind of poring over these books, even with help, and kind of having to read between the lines of the damaged sections and everything like that. The whole process from the beginning of your search to when you actually start kind of poring over the books. And again, these are historical books about religion rather than religious texts about historical events. So you're using kind of the lens of religion to kind of suss out the details. The whole process takes about 4 hours as you're poring over this. But here's the information you receive. The stories that Freya mentioned about the kind of cruelty, maybe not so much the sexual shenanigans, but like just the tendency towards being very unforgiving of non-believers are very, very aggressively confirmed in the texts that you read. There is one specific area that it speaks of a paladin in the service of the Church of Zaratsu when before Justinian became one of the 7 heroes, when he was the head of the Church of Zaratsu in Winterhold. But a paladin failed in his quest to hunt down a particular monster. And judging based on what the context, as vague as it kind of is, it wasn't necessarily the paladin's fault. But because he failed, Justinian cast him out of the church, excommunicated him completely. And just a number of stories to that effect. Very, very, like, staunch, lawful, the letter of the law is the law kind of mentality. The kind that kind of makes Kira's skin crawl a little bit. Because while you are lawful, you also understand that, there are some things that kind of you need to kind of be able to be flexible in certain situations. And this guy was fucking not at all. Refused, like, there's a couple of stories where, like, beggars or, the sick would come to the church and he would refuse them, aid and succor because they weren't believers. And so there's a number of these stories that kind of confirms those details to some degree. The specific circumstances of his death are unknown. Every text that you find basically states that he fell in battle while fighting to find the artifact that caused Godfall. His body was never recovered. You do learn that after about 100 years, or sometime in the 100 years after Godfall, a kind of memorial was erected in the temple that was standing at the time. The exact, like, there's not blueprints of the city from that time that you can find. There's like there's a few like hand-drawn sketches of what the temple looked like at the time that you're able to kind of glean. However, Kira, you think with the knowledge that may or may not be, you might be able to corroborate this with any knowledge that Brother Ebelum, I think I said, Ebelum, has to maybe extrapolate where this might have been in relation to the current temple. You get from kind of the historical context that Justinian is remembered less as, at least outside of the Church of Zaratsu, he's remembered less as a paragon of what a cleric of Zaratsu ought to be, and more of what they could be in a worst possible scenario. Sort of a cautionary tale of the
Cautionary tale.
yeah, he's a cautionary tale of the dangers of zealotous belief.
Well, he would not like me, Adira concludes.
I don't know that he would care for me either, if we're being real honest.
He might not care for you, but he would probably try to murder me.
Or at least castigate you really hard.
Yeah, that too.
And that is about the extent of what you are able to glean from these books. So you are at least, and I would imagine, like, Adira, you have resources to do this. You probably can, like, copy the hand-drawn reference points that you
Sure.
you found
Sure.
without too much of it. So you have those with you. If you can catch Brother Ebelum in a lucid moment, he may be able to assist your research. And with that massive lore dump, we're going to end the evening.
Hooray!
Awesome.
Lord don't.
So, I want to thank everybody who stuck around and watched the stream. I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
I want to thank my players for sticking around for a difficult but entertaining fight. God knows I had a good time. And yeah, so thanks everybody. I believe we should be back in about 2 weeks. Check my socials for confirmation of that, just because summers are kind of weird. Summer is kind of weird right now, just because travel and vacation and life and all that stuff. But I think we're back in 2 weeks without too much of an issue. So, thank you everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.
Bye!
See ya.
Hi, everyone.
And we level up.
Ha!